John, it took everything in me to not let you finish what you said because thank you. What are they doing giving the ball to Stevenson and letting him start these games still?
This is a series finale that I will say is living up a little bit to the hype that everybody's been waiting for 3 years. So far
Mm.
through this first volume, NFL Combine is which is your favorite Muppet? And I want to see what his answer is. If it's Kermit, we know why. If it's
Yes.
anybody else, I don't know.
Welcome back, everybody, to another great episode of Banter on the Rocks. Today is Monday, December 1st. Got myself Tim here today and John, of course. And to our returning listeners, we appreciate you. Thanks for grabbing a drink, tuning in, and rocking with us week after week. And if you're new to the show, welcome. We're glad you found us. Go ahead and hit that follow and subscribe button so you never miss the banter. And today's banter episode is loaded, and we'll be diving into our banter takes, banter week by week, where we'll recap all of the NFL games, TV shows, and giving our takes, our laughs, and everything in between. And like we do every single week, we're kicking things off with banter drink of the week, what we're sipping on, why we choose it, and how it's fueling our energy for today's show. So settle in, pour up something, and let's get into it. This is Banter on the Rocks, starting with my drink of the week. I am going with another Made West gem, going with the standard IPA, not the hazy, but the regular
Okay.
IPA. I think I've tried this once before and I
Uh,
enjoyed it. I don't know. I just kind of like just any of their IPAs.
yeah.
So this was on my second leg down to SoCal this past weekend for Thanksgiving. Picked up a six pack of that and it's been great.
Nice. No, that's always a good one. The hazy from Made West. A fan favorite for me.
Absolutely.
Um, Sweet. I got my last one, my Japanese lager.
Hey, oh.
I enjoyed it. Had a 4 pack. Haven't had a chance to drink too much of it. It's been busy driving a lot for Thanksgiving, shopping and stuff. So, enjoying it today is fueling me after a long work day after a week off of work. And just doing the dad life, cleaning. But yeah, that's what I'm sticking with today. It's a nice Japanese lager, nice and refreshing.
Yeah, no, it's a great way. Any case of the Mondays going back to work?
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
was hard to get up. Didn't want to get up. Sort of wanted to just stay asleep, but got to pay the bills. Till this pays the
Yeah.
bills. Till this could pay the
Oh,
bills.
yes, till this. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get started and we'll get into our banter takes. This part of the show is where we drop our hottest opinions. This one and these you'll either agree with completely or absolutely argue with us about it. So there's no filters, there's no warm-ups, just real talk straight up. So we're gonna get into it. Tim sent me my first take. College football programs should have to wait until the offseason before they can hire a new head coach. Yeah, I was really considering sending you a take just like this because of all the
Yep.
Lane Kiffin news. Everybody getting mad of him leaving, and then also the news of him wanting to stay coaching, but it's like you already accepted another job. It doesn't make sense. So I think this is where college football sort of has to wait a bit longer and wait till the end of the season, wait till the national championship to make those offers because it sort of messes with the entire program. The morale. Lane Kiffin, right? I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Interesting name, but yeah, no.
yeah. A name you wouldn't really expect to be this big of a move, but it is in college football, which is sort of surprising. But going from Ole Miss to LSU, I get why he did it. LSU, the prestige of that program name, it's one you want to coach compared to Ole Miss. But what he's done at Ole Miss, big changes, and what they're doing this season. I would have wished he could have gone through it without bringing all this noise and drama to the team because I haven't read into it much. I've just seen all the videos of, him going onto the plane in Ole Miss, all the fans flicking him off, yelling at him, talking smack. And LSU already has him, I think, on their website, as head
Yeah.
coach. So it's sort of like a slap in the face to Ole Miss, how they're going to do in the playoffs when they're a team that's there. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think this is the one thing college football has to do a little differently is not make offers until that coach's season's officially over. I think NFL does it a little better. I still think there's a lot of noise in the NFL, which it could get improved because I know all the coaches, if they're in the playoffs, they still interview, but then nothing gets offered. But the noise is there. I think when Detroit was in the playoffs, all their, assistants were getting interviewed. And I think we knew most of them were going to leave and we knew exactly where to after the first round of interviews. And it caused noise and see what happened. They didn't do too well in the playoffs because of the noise, possibly. So, um, college, I think, needs to do better with having to wait till the off season, but it's also they're their own entity and they're gonna do whatever they want, and they probably don't even give an F.
For sure. Yeah, no, I completely agree. You know, the reason why, I agree with you on this take that, they should have to wait until the college football season is over is because college football is structured a whole lot different than what the NFL
Hmm.
is. Obviously, it's the biggest word here is developmental, and that's exactly, everything from these players learning more about the game at a higher level, playing with a lot of, phenomenal
Hmm.
athletes that, are surrounding them better than, probably what they played with in high school, unless they went to like a super elite high
Yeah.
school program. But the big thing is, developing young men.
Hmm.
When it comes to these things, you're developing, not only who they are as a player, but who they are, off the field as well. And what it takes to be, a professional, make this a career and build something out of it. And these coaches kind of, seizing opportunities and obviously dollars, count and the prestige of the college that they're going to is a big
Hmm.
deal, of course, as
Yeah.
well. But you kind of leave, mid-season and you're preaching things about like consistency or, you
Yeah.
know, put your all out there on the field, but then, it's okay for them to go ahead and, leave at the end of a season where you're about to go into the college football playoff. And then, you're Ole Miss, for example, is I believe 11-1 at the moment, going to
Yeah.
be most likely heading into the playoff. And, they've been a good team, but, for him to leave and make this decision now is just, it's tough. You think about Lane, you think about Ole Miss, what they're going to do, but you
Hmm.
also have to think about all of these players and what they've
Yeah.
kind of built around him. They're the reason, he's probably the reason why they, wanted to go to a program like this. Lane Kiffin is a very
Hmm.
big name when it comes to
Yeah.
college sports and football in general. That Kiffin name altogether,
Hmm.
following his father's footsteps. And, it's rub people the wrong way altogether,
Hmm.
and then he asks if he could finish the season there. I mean, it's probably what he felt like he had to do, but then, why is Ole Miss going to say, oh yeah,
Yeah.
stay the season, then just talk about how great Louisiana State is?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't make any sense. And you know, obviously seizing the opportunity, is what he decided to go with. I guess he consulted a few people. And then, one striking thing that he brought up today, and I don't know, he's kind of digging himself a hole. And I think after this, he just needs to kind of shut up for a bit.
Hmm.
He had a press conference today and he brought up his contract and how he said how it's how he's been financially irresponsible. And he, quite frankly, doesn't know how much money is involved in his contract.
BS.
Freaking liar. Yeah. You got to be kidding me. It's like, how does the general public know what your contract is, which I believe is 12, a little upwards of 12 million a year.
Hmm.
Uh, how do we know that, but he doesn't? Okay.
Yeah.
So just bogus. Feel for the players at Ole Miss. Hopefully Ole Miss, rebounds well. It's a great college football
Hmm.
town. The program there, it's a ton of, memorable moments there. Um, LSU, I don't know. At the same time, I kind of feel like LSU is just coach hopping at this point.
Yeah.
And after how sloppy that ending was with Brian Kelly, I, I don't. He better find success quick because I think LSU could turn on him quick.
Yeah, LSU could turn on him quick, and Lane Kiffin has a good reputation. He's known for college. I think struggled in the NFL a bit. So recruit wise, I think he'll get quite a few transfers probably from Ole Miss going to LSU, and all the new recruiting class coming in this year might not be looking to exit because I know when a coach leaves, a lot of these players that have already committed to these schools sometimes also decommit and go somewhere else with a different coach. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, him not knowing how much he's making, I think I see an article here. He's making 13 million per season.
Yep.
If second highest paid coach behind Kirby Smart in Georgia. But one of the interesting things here is LSU is going to be paying his bonuses for whatever Ole Miss makes in the college footballs playoffs. So because since he's not playing, not coaching, he's not making it. But if the Rebels are in the final bracket selected for college football committee, Kiffin will get 150,000 from LSU, what Ole Miss was supposed to pay. If they make it past to the next round, 250, 500 for a semifinal appearance, and 750 if Ole Miss reaches the national championship. So Lane Kiffin's still sort of rooting for Ole Miss because he's still getting paid by LSU, which also doesn't make sense why LSU is going to be paying him that, because they're going to be losing it for sure, at least 150, because I think Ole Miss is making, the playoffs.
Yeah, they definitely will. Yeah, no, it's awkward. I guess that was probably their final bargaining chip to kind of push them over the ledge was,
Yeah.
hey, I'm sure you're not going to be able to finish off the season there, but hey, we'll pay that bonus for you and, go from there. Ole Miss, on the other hand, has really turned the corner quick. I saw that they already hired, which I don't think is going to be their interim coach. I think they're set on him being their coach. They hired I think he was a coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's
Okay.
previously been, a coach at Alabama.
Yeah.
I have to
Okay.
look up his name to be exact, but they're already moving and turning the page quickly too.
Yeah.
Which, a big program. I don't know. Let's just say, John, you're a really big Ole Miss fan,
Yeah.
um, or even a donor. Let's say you're a big donor for them. Would you want a little bit more of like a coaching, hiring scheme than or just going right off the bat and having a guy come in that the players already know?
It it would depend on who's out there. I don't know if there's anybody else out there that I could sort of see other than probably Lane Kiffin that can make a move. You know,
Mhm.
all these other coaches, unless you could get like, Urban Meyer to come out of broadcasting and come coach your team, a move like that, yeah, I think you would have to make. But this is a player already or a player friendly coach already in the locker room. I think he was the defensive coordinator for Ole Miss currently. That's going to be
Mhm.
taking the head coaching job. So it's someone they already know, it's someone that recruiting wise, if he was really involved in recruiting, you're going to keep all your recruits. You're not going to lose too much. So
Mhm.
it's not the worst move, but I think it's a short leash that he will have. It's a year to two to sort of keep the program stabilized, maybe not go 11-1, but still, have a chance for the college football playoffs. And then if not, it's like, yeah, we have to go pay someone, like Lane Kiffin. See who's out there. Chip Kelly got fired, he has a name in college, that's a big name that, you know, did really well in Oregon, sucked in the NFL, I will say, but could be a college guy and that might be someone on the radar.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's another name. But yeah, Pete Golding, new coach. He's part of that Nick Saban coaching tree. So
Yeah.
I feel like, if you pull anybody from certain coaching trees, you're going to find some success.
Yeah.
Not always, but
Yeah.
it certainly is, somebody who is kind of under that same mentality, you'd think.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, in Chip Kelly, you mentioned him. There's already, I guess, murmurs of the BYU coach being the main focus of the new Penn State
Hmm.
opening. So that's, a possibility. We already saw Penn State's now fired coach with Virginia Tech. So there's
Hmm.
been some movement for sure. I know that another big name out there is Indiana's coach. I don't know if he's going to be on the move because Indiana's really developed themselves great,
Yeah.
but he's a name that is probably going to
Hmm.
lurk quite a bit this
Yeah.
offseason.
Yeah, no, he will, but it's like, it's a big risk for a coach taking this type of Indiana program that I don't think a lot of us saw up as high as they
Hmm.
are currently, So see what you could develop, like unless you get this offer that you cannot pass by and, compared to the type of a Lane Kiffin who already makes all the money, something that could really help his coaching career in the future and maybe lead to the NFL, he might have to take it. But like I say, if it was me, it would have to be something big that I'm like, okay, it's life-changing money for me and my family. And if I miss, I'm okay. If I hit, I'm golden for the next few years.
For sure. Yeah. Same as the case. I think a lot about stuff like that with Lincoln Riley at USC. The dude
Hmm.
has, I guess, he's gifted like the private jet. His, salary's obscene. He's in
Yeah.
SoCal, and I'm sure he, could afford a beautiful mansion over there. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's living life large. So take advantage as long as you can go. And if I got offered a role like that, quite frankly, and college was kind of my game,
Hmm.
dude, it would be almost nearly impossible to try to pry me from a drop like that. So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
yeah.
these guys got to live it up.
Yeah, they got to live it up. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this Lane Kiffin stuff, big news. I saw the one video where he like was chirping at a reporter. I forget what he said exactly, but it was just
I think he called him a hoe.
yeah, something like that. Something like that, I
Yeah.
think it was. But yeah, it's just like this guy, it's not looking good. You made the great point. This guy just should just live under a rock for a bit, let all this noise die down, let the college football playoffs happen, because after that you'll be okay. So just try to stay out of the spotlight because you're making your money already. Heard his son was interested in going to LSU, but I don't know if he will now because
Hmm.
I did hear he wants to develop something, not under his dad. And I think from the sounds of it, he's coaching his daughter's boyfriend as well, which will be interesting.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I saw that same article. His son, quarterback, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess LSU was on his list, and I think,
Oregon. Oregon's
Oregon.
a new one on his list.
Yeah, yeah, can't blame him.
Yeah,
It's a little different playing under your father, and
yeah,
maybe scrutiny's there, and the eyes, it's not something that you probably want. There's already a lot of pressure, and maybe that's just added to it.
yeah.
Especially with such a drastic change of
Hmm.
role for Lane. I think Brian Kelly's son played for him at LSU as well, because I saw a clip
Okay.
of him running out senior night, and I don't think he even played a snap for the team. So it just seems
Yeah.
like he was gifted the role, and maybe the son doesn't want that image,
Yeah, yeah. He wants to earn it, show that he deserves to be there. It's not handed to him, so I won't
Yeah.
blame him. So we'll see what happens. He seems like he's a pretty high prospect, so curious to see. But college football is getting interesting. We had rivalry week this past week, quite a few games. So
Yeah.
eh, college football is always fun.
Yeah, I watched a lot of football. Watched a
Yeah,
lot of football. NFL, college. It's one of the best weekends for college and NFL football because you have
yeah,
just something going on every day.
yeah.
And the Texas and Texas A&M game on
Oh yeah.
Friday was phenomenal. That was a really good, fun game to watch. I've kind of changed my mind a bit on Arch Manning.
Okay.
I think he looks better now than he did at the start of the season. Still a lot of question marks for sure. I don't think at this moment he's, anywhere near a top pick. But yeah, it was a big game. I
Hmm.
think that was a really big stepping point. I also thought I sent you a clip of it with Texas making fun of
Oh
the
yeah.
A&M coach at the press conference.
That's
Um that
hilarious.
A&M coach seems so salty, man. Like even the post game, like they left the door open to the press conference room, and he was all pissed that the door was open. He's like, "Come on, this is a professional atmosphere," and blah blah blah. And it's like,
Yeah,
take the noise a bit. It's okay.
yeah. Take the noise. I think A&M, like, I know it's a tough loss. I think they are having an incredible season, but this loss, I don't think it's going to define them. Like I said, they're in the college football playoffs for sure. I don't think
Yeah.
this one loss is going to kick them out, and they're still a very dangerous team. So I think they get an extra week break now. So it's just rest, recover, game plan, get ready for the playoffs because this could be your one run to it. Because Texas A&M, you don't really see as high nowadays. But yeah, I've liked Texas A&M. I've seen a few of their games, so solid team.
Yeah, no, I have as well. I really like Marcel Reed, their quarterback.
Hmm.
Not the best of games this past week, a couple picks, but I really admire dual threat quarterbacks. I think they're a lot of fun to watch,
Hmm.
and he's certainly one of them. He seems like a good coach, and Texas
Yeah.
A&M kind of were shot out of a rocket. They kind of had a dull period, right?
Mhm.
And then I feel like that they've been a lot more competitive, this year than
Yeah.
they have maybe over the last few years. They've always been good, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
th this year,
They're
I
they're,
mean,
they're just looking unstoppable. I literally
yeah,
thought they were gonna go undefeated and go into the playoffs like that, but Texas is one of those teams. Sarkisian, another big name that has done well, then does really bad, but that guy knows how to coach, and you have Arch Manning, a Manning. You can't really count him out, even though the looks just aren't there sometimes.
for sure. Yeah, no, he's one of those guys, Sarkisian, that he just needs to stay with Texas. I
Yeah.
mean, his salary's great. That's Austin, Texas. Never been, but just the environment there seems phenomenal for
Yeah.
college football.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, here's my take for you. Another, we'll stay in college for a bit.
All right, love it. All right. Oh, this is a good one. Dylan Raiola might hit the transfer portal, and the rumor mill says Texas Tech is in play. But if he ends up there, does he finally have to stop pretending he's not trying to be Patrick Mahomes? Because come on, at that point, copy and paste allegations write themselves. Completely agree. And I saw an article about this that, yeah, Texas Tech is possibly in play. And then he goes there and wears number 15, of course. And, I think at that point, he has to I think he emulates Patrick Mahomes a little bit more. I think you just got to go full in
Yeah,
and
you
just,
got to go full Patrick.
yeah, you got to go full Patrick at that point. Patrick Raiola heading over there. But yeah, no, he does at some point really need to take on a character of his own in order to go up to the next level. Um, because yeah, those the copy and paste allegations, he's never gonna beat them at the rate he's going, especially if he goes to a place like Texas Tech. I think it could be a good environment for him. It's, a pass heavy program historically. The teams that they typically play kind of creates that environment. You think back to even Mahomes versus Mayfield in college.
Yeah.
They both threw for like 500 yards and, probably 20 touchdown passes
Yeah.
each. It was an outrageous game to watch. So I think it would be a good destination for him. But at the same time, yeah, he's got to create his
Uh,
own thing.
uh.
There is a clear difference, I will say. The Nebraska without him and the Nebraska with him.
Oh yeah.
There's a big difference. So the talent is there. It's just kind of just be yourself, buddy. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to, branch out. You don't have to do the same celebrations. You don't have to change
Uh,
much. Just do some stuff a little different.
yeah. Like f find yours, take inspiration from Patrick, take inspiration from all these players, but still make it your own. Don't do the exact same thing. Don't get the exact same haircut, the exact same headband, the exact same dance or little runs that he does with his hands flapping.
Oh yeah,
Because
the
oh yeah.
the finger thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it's like, he's Kermit 2.0, Robin the Frog, Kermit's cousin. That's what he's trying to be if he goes to Texas Tech. He has to live with that, and like you say, he just roll with it, sort of build on it, but also just start creating your own image because in the future people are going to see that in the NFL draft. If he ends up going to the combine, it's going to be the number one question if he goes to Texas Tech.
Mhm. For sure. To be a fly on the wall for those NFL interviews. Like,
Oh
if
yeah.
there's any sort of video Banter on the Rocks can get of his combine interview, we want it because I
Yeah.
think just they're known to ask really weird ass questions.
Yeah.
So just the questions that he might get, regarding Mahomes,
Uh,
I think would be phenomenal. It would be great content, just in
uh,
general, just
yeah.
a watch party of it. Um,
Uh,
because he's going to be asked.
yeah.
They go for anything. I'm
Hmm.
sure that it's practically an FBI investigation of your life, things you did,
Hmm.
posts from maybe 5 years ago. What were you? What does
Uh,
this mean? Blah blah blah. They'll probably find it and dig it up, and then want to hear your reaction to it because they
hmm.
want to see how you are in pressure situations and how you react and your quick thinking skills. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what that will be. And yeah, Texas Tech would make sense. I'm sure there's countless programs now that, are looking for a good QB.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Texas Tech, I'm
Yeah.
sure is looking for one.
Yeah. He has the skills. Like you mentioned, you hit it on the point. Nebraska without him, they're doing bad. They aren't playing since he got playing as well as they can be since he's gotten injured. So it shows he is a bit of a difference maker QB. So there's going to be a lot of programs that are looking for it. Texas Tech, I think, will be one. And like I said, he's a decent baller. I've seen I forget what game I saw. I think I saw the Maryland game just because I'm a Maryland Terrapin fan. So I
Mhm.
watched a little bit of that game and he was doing good. I don't blame him for trying to emulate Patrick Mahomes a bit, but like I said, it's just sometimes funny to see him doing the same things. And I'm like, what's Patrick Mahomes doing back, in the college?
Yep.
But the one question I would have for Dylan Raiola if I was at the NFL Combine is, which is your favorite Muppet? And I want to see what his answer is. If it's Kermit, we know why. If it's
Yes.
anybody else, I don't know. You have to analyze it a little bit more.
Valid. Yeah, super
Uh,
valid. And what's your favorite warm up that Mahomes does? Or,
yeah.
do you have a tight end best friend
Yeah.
that you want to open a restaurant with? You know, whatever it might be. Does your
Yeah.
brother like to do TikTok dances?
Yeah.
That's another one. Speaking of Nebraska, one guy I do want to shout out with that program, who I think is their only offensive piece, is their
Mhm.
running back, Emmett Johnson. That
Okay.
dude is legit. They
Huh.
lost 40-16 to Iowa this past week, but the 29 carries for 217 yards.
Hmm.
That the quarterback threw for 69 yards off of 24 passes. That goes to show like how much of the offense he is.
Yeah.
Um, his, I, I don't watch a whole lot of Cornhusker football, but in my opinion, I mean, he's making a really good bargaining chip to be a top pick.
Hmm.
Anybody that needs a running back on the season,
Oh,
251 carries, 1,451 yards, and 12 rushing touchdowns. He's
yeah.
having a very, very good season on
Yeah.
a mediocre team, adding
Hmm.
370 yards receiving for 3 touchdowns. So he can catch the ball too.
Hmm.
Why do I think for some reason he'll end up being a Chief? Like a late round Chief pick, mid to
Because
late round.
because the Chiefs need it based off what they're struggling with, and this is a guy that is working under mini Patrick Mahomes and could be a good fit. So yeah, he's been playing well. Looking at his stats, just highest rusher in all of the games. He's hitting at least 100 yards. I think he missed one, two, three, four games. But yeah,
Mhm.
last game 217. Against where was it? Against UCLA. UCLA is a sorry team, but 129 rushing, 103 receiving.
USC
So
165.
165 against a good USC team. I say against Michigan, he struggled 65, but still, all these other teams, Michigan State 83, Maryland. Like I said, I remember the Maryland game. He killed
Yep,
us 176. Like they're a good team, and they. I think a lot of Nebraska fans had the hype at the beginning of the season. I think they had a good chance, but once he went down with that injury, once Raiola went down, it was pretty much over for them, and that's how big a quarterback in college sometimes is.
for sure. For sure. Yeah, it all makes sense. It would also all make sense that Rayola does go to Texas Tech, and then maybe starts there a year. What is he, a sophomore? Is he a sophomore?
I think he is. Let me see. I just have his
Yeah,
stats up.
because if he's a sophomore, he could probably put in what, two more seasons at
Yeah,
least.
sophomore.
Okay, he could do junior, senior year at Texas Tech, and
Hmm.
then that gives 2 more years for Mahomes to develop, and then the Chiefs go ahead and draft Mahomes, or go ahead and draft Raiola, and then he'll be the predecessor and learn off of Mahomes even more,
Yeah,
and just become him.
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. He's
Hell of a
gonna
future.
do. He's gonna do. Have you ever watched, or did he ever? I don't think you've seen the movie Him, the
No,
the
have not.
football one. If you watch it, sort of the twist, it's sort of that same thing, where
Hmm.
the old school quarterback's trying to stay alive and stay relevant. That's Mahomes, and then Riola's who he's trying to sort of take in to be young and be the guy. So,
There you
if you
go.
watch it, like I said, not the greatest movie, but an interesting one if you're a football fan and just the whole concept of it.
I like
But
it.
when you mentioned that right now, I thought about that movie. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but when I saw that, I was like, he might go to Texas Tech and wear Patrick's number. I'm like, this guy just has to stop.
he does. While we're on just the topic, because, both our takes have gone college football, there's another, really big name that's been coming up a lot, just on my feed and over this past weekend. He had a good game. Diego Pavia. He is always in the news. Whether it's uh, the comedian
Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn being, trying to get at his mom, him going on
Hmm.
streams together. His whole family is very dedicated to
Hmm.
who Diego Pavia is at Vanderbilt. And one thing he does continuously is hit the Heisman pose. And I think he truly believes he, should win. The confidence is great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's
Hmm.
phenomenal. And what he's done for Vanderbilt is great.
Oh yeah.
He's made them relevant. Don't get me. He's a good quarterback, but I think he's a good quarterback at the college level. I don't think he's going to be much after this unless he maybe wants to change and possibly be a running back. I feel
Hmm.
like he could possibly do that. He ran for, I think, 165 yards or something like that this
Hmm.
past week. He had a great game. Threw a couple picks though, and no
Yeah.
touchdown passes. He did a lot of it on
He
the ground.
he had one touchdown pass this past weekend.
Oh, one touchdown pass. Okay, but a
Yeah,
couple
but two
picks, right?
two picks.
Okay, against a
Yeah.
kind of a meh Tennessee team.
Hmm.
Um, big win though. But on the year, I don't most people kind of agree with this take that
Hmm.
they don't really see him even being under much consideration. But
No.
there is a small group of people that, yeah, I think Bussin' with the Boys are big advocates for him, to win the Heisman. I don't know if you've looked too much into Diego Pavia. He's fun to watch, and he's great
Yeah.
entertainment.
He's fun to watch, but I don't know if he has it. And I'll send you a second take I had for you because it sort of goes off of this.
Oh,
Let me
okay,
see.
great,
So we'll sort
perfect,
of go into your second take because it's sort of I think answers this question a little bit.
perfect. All right, so my next take here is the NFL isn't failing young quarterbacks. College football is. Systems are so gimmicky now that half of these top prospects are basically unprepared. Are we drafting talent or are we drafting vibes? Yep, this is absolutely perfect because that's exactly what Diego Pavia is. This is
Yeah,
right on the dot.
it's the vibes. It's all the commotion around him that makes him the guy that people think Heisman hopeful top draft pick, and it's sort of the same thing that Arch Manning has, it's the vibes, it's that Manning name, he showed glimpses of it, in high school, but remember, it's high school. You're like the one best player playing. Once you're in college, it's a little different. So, yeah, I don't see the vibe with him. I think he's done a lot for Vanderbilt. I think he's good, but not great. I don't know if his play will sort of be able to transfer to the NFL because it's almost like that Jalen Hurts piece where I don't think he is a great quarterback. He has great system, great running back. Um,
Mhm.
so Yeah, I think it's more just vibes for him. Kudos to what he's done though, because like I said, you always hear about him every week. Everybody's watching that game, you know, looking at his mom because of Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn really made him, so thank Theo Vaughn for that.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they all have, big personalities and again, I kind of get like I don't know, just Scatabo vibes from Diego Pavia. I feel like that he's like a hard-nosed player,
Mhm.
he's gonna go lower his head, get involved. And all the power to him. He's made a lot out of his college football career.
Mhm.
But at the same time, again, I just Vanderbilt has been good. I just don't see how he should be up for much consideration, for Heisman, going along with a lot of these other top quarterback talents like, Julian Sayans, another big name that might be up for, um, winning the Heisman. Alabama's quarterback is probably another one.
Mhm.
There's a lot to consider. Um, even at just the quarterback position alone, because then you have to also
Yeah.
involve you know, defensive players. There's
Mhm.
been some good defensive players out there. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like what he reminds me of is sort of like Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson
Okay.
was
Yeah.
just vibes, great in college, BYU did a lot, really brought that BYU program a lot more, big names to go there. But once he got to the NFL, he struggled. He is an assistant quarterback. I don't think he started at a game this year at all.
No.
So that's where sort of I think Pavia goes, and Zach Wilson. I remember one of the big things when going up to draft night, it was people talking about his mom, how young she was and stuff. So it's almost like the same thing that Pavia is going through right now with the Theo Vaughn thing.
Mhm.
You know, Other names, Trey Lance, look great in college, but it's like college isn't preparing them for the NFL. It's just that vibe of dual threat quarterback, and yeah, I think the feeling. It sucks probably,
Oh,
you
it
know.
does. It's absolutely horrendous to have, a quarterback that, you go and buy his jersey
Hmm.
as soon as he's drafted and, you get all hyped and do
Yeah,
fist pumps in the air and
yeah,
think he's the next best thing. And
yeah.
yeah, and then now it just collects dust.
No, it's
And
just
but I don't burn it. I keep
yeah,
it. We talked about that.
yeah,
I still like the jersey,
yeah,
and he's still in the league. It's okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
He's still there
Um,
somewhere.
he's still there, backup.
Yeah,
I think he got some game action for the Chargers this past week with
yeah,
Herbert's injury. Uh, so good for him. But
yeah.
yeah, another thing is too is the lack of development of a lot of these quarterbacks, comes from the instability of what we talked about earlier
Mm-hmm.
with
Coaching.
coaching, people leaving mid-season. It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
now how are we going to keep the same scheme? Play calling might be slightly different. You have to adjust,
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Dart. He's had in my opinion, a good rookie season, considering he has
Yeah.
a very subpar team
Mm-hmm.
and a coaching change. He's gone through a lot. He's had
Yeah.
injuries. He didn't start the season. There's been a lot of movement within that team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I remember his Gruden interview on his show, and they were talking like snap to count, and he
Mm-hmm.
just did a clap, and the whole thing was a clap. So it's like nobody in the NFL really does that.
Yeah.
That's strictly a college thing, and then that's already going to be an adjustment to the NFL level. Luckily, he
Mm-hmm.
has the talent and skill to back it up, but it's just drastically different. There's the word development such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it lacks a lot of times because I think, between players and coaching and NCAA, it's become very self-centered.
Yeah. It has, and I think the one thing with Jackson Dart you mentioned doing great. Coaching change happened. He lost his go-to running back, Cam Scatabo. He
Yep.
lost his number one receiver, Malik Neighbors. Imagine if that team was fully healthy. I think it'd be
Ooh,
different. Also with him, what was he out? 2 weeks because of concussion,
two.
I
Yep.
think. So it's like, and if he would have started, this could be a whole different take on the New York Giants, So,
Yeah.
but yeah, what he did in college isn't really going to translate, but he's a talent that can make that change. Others that haven't, just looking at this list of like top rated quarterbacks coming out of college, Anthony Richardson, he's one that has struggled. Another
Oh
one,
yeah.
we've talked about him a lot. That team sucks right now. Richie probably hates us for talking
Yes.
smack. JJ McCarthy, a guy that a lot of people I think was a lot of vibes coming off of a Michigan team that beat Ohio State, won the national championship, and it was like JJ McCarthy did it. It's like, but I don't think he was fully prepared. That was the year. I think Harbaugh too wasn't even coaching. He was on the sideline because he was banned from coaching.
Yep.
So it's like he wasn't fully ready for the NFL, and it shows right now that he's struggling, and he's just a vibe, not really a good top talent. And I saw a stat, I don't know if you've seen it. Um, he's worse than Jamarcus Russell, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah. Through his like first six starts, something like that,
Yeah.
right? Eight starts. Yeah. No, it was crazy. It
Mhm.
was like two shadows, and guess who player one and player two
Yeah.
is? Demarcus Russell. That's a lot to say. A guy that didn't even look at his playbook. And
hmm
JJ nine, I guess he does that. That's crazy. And then one more
Yeah.
quick thing on JJ. I saw a lot of edits on just Vikings in general, but especially JJ, where they were talking about the NCAA championship a couple years ago when he
hmm
went up against Michigan, went up against Michael Penix with Washington, and they did F it JJ McCarthy college football final highlights, and it was just a bunch of clips of him handing the ball off to Blake Corum and,
Yeah.
and them busting out big runs and basically
hmm
carrying the game because that's how his career went. And that's why we brought up last week how there wasn't much action passing wise in college. What translation do we think was going to happen for the NFL?
hmm Yeah. So that's why I thought about that because I've seen a lot of it. These college quarterbacks, a lot of them, like I said, one that I would say looked promising for me was like Joey Aguilar from Tennessee. He was swinging it beginning of the season. He struggled the second half, and it's someone that if he would have kept it up, he would have been in the Heisman talk. If Tennessee was winning, he'd be a top draft pick. But now, his stock's probably going down. And like I say, it's not the NFL isn't failing the young quarterbacks. It's more college and the systems, because it's just really next guy up, coaching schemes. What are coaches doing to protect their jobs? Um, and they're just not prepared for this change. Even though this is, the minor leagues of the NFL. It should be preparing them for that next step.
For sure, absolutely. And I guess one final note I want to put up here because it's a smaller college,
Yeah.
but I've seen a lot about them, and I think that this kid is going to be a big deal, and I think that he's going to be a top NFL draft pick, in my opinion. The North Texas Mean Green. They are in the American Athletic Championship against Tulane, who is a ranked team this next week, and they are currently 11-1 on the season. Drew Mestamaker is a freshman quarterback who has thrown for 3,835
Mhm.
yards, 29 touchdowns, and only four picks.
Oh, wow.
This kid is electric. If you look at his highlights and the types of throws he's making and his arm strength, a lot of people are comparing him to Josh Allen. And I can see why. Body size, very comparable. He's 6'4",
Yeah.
215. I think he is going to be a big deal. Quite frankly, from what I've seen, give me him over Arch Manning easily at this point. I'll
Yeah.
put it out there.
Okay. Now I'll look up his highlight reels because yeah, I'm curious because
Yeah,
sometimes some of these quarterbacks from these smaller schools are a lot better. Josh Allen, Wyoming, I think, right? Came from
correct. Yep,
Wyoming. Joe Flacco, you got to give it up to him. Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, still in the league, at this old age, and he was North Dakota, I think, state or
yep,
yeah, one of those schools. So it's like a lot of these, lesser non, top top school quarterbacks are making it because they're just developed a lot better and the systems of developing are way better than these big name schools. Just
for
looking to get
sure.
paid and looking for the highlights.
That's exactly right. Can I throw out one stat real quick on Drew?
Yeah.
Um, a game earlier this season. Now, again, this team isn't real great, but the Charlotte 49ers, North Texas won 54-20, and I believe Drew set a passing record this game, 37 of 49 for 608 yards and four
Hey.
touchdowns. Yeah, lit it up.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah. Yeah, he sounds like a great player, and that type of player, I think it's the ones that have to show it really in the combine
Hmm.
to
Yeah,
really be considered, maybe not a number one pick, but still, late first round, great prospect, so yeah, we'll see how is he a senior or
no, only a freshman.
I don't even,
I think he's
so he,
redshirt freshman.
okay. So he
Yeah.
still has some years to develop, and the way the transfer portal works too, it works in favor for some of these kids, but I think it also hurts a lot of them because, like you say, they aren't getting the same coach year after year to help develop them, and it's different perspectives, different mindsets, different, messages they're getting from different coaches at all their schools they go to. So,
Hmm.
like I said, we've talked about the transfer portal. Some good, some bad. We'll see how it continues to develop.
For sure. Yeah, but this upcoming weekend, December 5th, 5 p.m., up against Tulane on ABC. It's
All
going to be a
right.
game I'll be watching because it'll be a good test for him. Let's see how he
Yeah.
does.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. All right. Do you have any more takes, Tim?
No, that was it for me. Sorry.
That was it for you? Okay.
Big college take day. I like it.
The big college, yeah. Um, So yeah, those are our banter takes. Agree or disagree, drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear where you stand on this week's banter takes, and let us know if there's anything you guys want to start bantering about in future episodes. But we'll go into our NFL banter game by game. So this is where we just discuss the NFL games, give you our takes, our thoughts, any takeaways. And we'll start with Thanksgiving Day. There were three games.
Hmm.
First game, Lions Packers, right? Or
It was.
yeah,
Yep.
Lions Packers. Packers winning 31-24 against the Lions. Uh a little bit earlier for me, didn't get to watch all of it, watched a few highlights, but good game, close game. Um Jordan Love showed up a bit, 4 TDs. Uh
Hmm.
but the big question mark for me is just the Lions. Jameer Gibbs is the guy. But what are the Lions doing? Possible Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God injury. Hopefully it's not too long because if they lose him, this team may struggle a lot. And
Hmm.
it's just Jared Goff. Is he really elite? Is going to be the question. Even though he had a great game.
Yeah, no, for sure. Amon-Ra, such a big element. You're already missing Sam Laporta. That's a big hit to them. I saw interesting story. Frank Ragnow was going to come back, offensive lineman for him, come out of retirement, but then didn't pass his physical because they found a grade 3 hamstring strain. A
Oh,
grade 3 hamstring strain is like your hamstring falling off your bone.
yeah.
How do you not know? Like that dude is an absolute beast
Oh,
that he like was trying to play it off. I
yeah.
think that is absurd. Um, but yeah, small story there. Lions, I think they're a big question mark even for the playoffs right now. I
Yeah.
think that with the way the Bears are playing, we'll get into them. But
Hmm.
Packers, this is a divisional matchup. Packers look like the better team. The offense
Hmm.
was clicking a lot better this week. Christian Watson seems to be the guy there, receiving wise, really stepping
Yeah.
up, had a great game. Wicks had a good game. But defensively, Micah Parsons, I mean, he justified why you paid a pretty penny to get him. He's literally made that defense look tremendously better. Just
Yeah.
the amount of attention he grabs, is a big factor. So yeah, Lions. Let's see, Amon-Ra. I heard it's a low ankle sprain. Probably will
Hmm.
be. It's a little bit better than a high ankle sprain, from my understanding. But I think it'll still be, maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like I say, Lions just have to do what they got to do to stay in the playoff race, be there. Amon-Ra, I think, has to try to keep him healthy because he is going to be your go-to guy in the playoffs. He's that safety net for Jared Goff. So, but yeah, Packers, they're looking like a better team. That defense is looking better. Offense is also looking a little bit more solid. No, we've talked a little bit of smack about them, but they're listening to us and they don't want us to continue talking to smack. So they came up, showed up. So kudos to
Right.
them. They're second in that division, so they got to keep it up. But next game, Chiefs versus Cowboys. This game,
Hmm.
another good game. Was watching this game. Um, Close game. Happy with the outcome.
Hmm.
I would say question is Cowboys for real? Are they a really solid team?
Dude, it's kind of like you're saying there's a chance
There's a
because
chance.
I think there is. The Cowboys defense alone looks they're a totally different defense than they were to start the season. The defense is clicking. Like it looks good. The addition of Quinnen Williams,
Yeah.
such a big difference. He had a great game. Um, and the offense, George Pickens, dude is legit. He's so
Yeah.
good. The hurdle he had was
Oh
was
yeah. That was
insane.
sick.
That was such a sick play. And then, CD had a great game. Really stepped up in, the amount of pass interference penalties that he draws, and what the yards he could
Hmm.
have if that didn't happen. He probably even had a better game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cowboys altogether, I think that is looking like a very good team and a sneaky team for the playoffs. NFC's tight though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. If this was an AFC team, I think that would be, a big difference. But
Mhm.
Chiefs, on the other hand, getting to them a little bit, Mahomes, what did he throw for? Four passing touchdowns, still couldn't win the game. The run game is iffy.
Hmm.
Um, it's Rashee Rice had a good game, and that's really about it. But the run game is there's like zero compliments. Kareem
Yeah.
Hunt does what he can, I guess, at his age. Um, Xavier Worthy, that I just feel
Mhm.
like they don't work him in enough. Um, big thing I saw is I think there's a decent amount of Chiefs fans going after Andy Reid now. And it's like they'll
Okay.
turn quick if that's the case. We warned them though. They
Yeah.
had a warning,
They had
you
a
know.
warning. Yeah. Cowboys, I think they would have to win now and really have a lot of things fall their way to sort of be able to get in. And it's
Hmm.
looking like it could lead that way because of another team that we'll talk about in a while, that played on Friday. But yeah, they're looking solid. Pickens, we always knew he was a good player, a bit of a hothead, but this could be the best place for him. Not being the number one guy. I think Pickens, when there was another number one better receiver, he always succeeded. And when he was the go-to guy, he struggled. So I think this is a good place for him. Chiefs, happy to see it. Unfortunate, they had a great game, but you hit it right on the dot. Rushing, that's where they're struggling, and it's also defense. Their defense couldn't get a sack at all.
Yeah.
That defensive front that should be a pretty strong defense, with Nick Bolton, Chris Jones, up in the front, Cowboys were able to stop him. I think if their defense played a little bit better, they could have easily won this game. But yeah, after Rasheed Rice, Worthy needs to get a bit more in there. Kelsey had a subpar game, you could say. Hollywood Brown, I don't know where all these people that kept on saying Hollywood Brown is a go-to guy. We told them from the beginning that Hollywood Brown was not it. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't know what else to say. You know, I'm happy, but I don't really want to dance and talk too much about the Chiefs just because they aren't relevant. They probably should be eliminated because last week they should have lost for sure, but the stripes helped them. Couldn't help them in
Hmm.
this game.
For sure. They try their best, to help them. But yeah, you're exactly right. You know, at this point, the Chiefs absolutely need to win out to even be under consideration,
Hmm.
and that's their last hope. Let's see how the NFL tries to help them out with that. But
Hmm.
I think the Chiefs are going to have a tough time trying to win out.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some tough matchups because they got Denver once, they got the Chargers, you know, and then
Lost
maybe
to both already.
Texans. Yeah. So
Texans.
there's a chance there's two games that they have to try to win that are not going to be the easiest for them. So we'll see, but like you say, let's see how the stripes in the NFL help them out and give them a little push to the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's all it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Next game, I would prefer to skip this game, but we don't skip, we don't miss anything. Bengals Ravens,
Yeah,
total shit show. Sorry for
mm,
my language.
it's appropriate.
Bengals 32, Ravens 14. Horrible game from us. Lamar Jackson just isn't looking like himself. What it is, I don't know. I don't know what it is, if it's motivation, if it's injury. I know we've talked about it. Is he still 100% because he hasn't been running it the way he normally does? But overall, just a bunch of mistakes with interceptions, fumbles, not protecting the ball. Um, the likely touchback, um, not too mad at him about it. Uh, I feel like there needs to be a rule change because, like I said, that's just so difficult to sort of control. You
Hmm.
know, it should be something else, but don't really blame him. That probably took a lot of momentum away from us. But Derrick Henry, only 10 carries. Like I said, we didn't do what we needed to do. We went away from game script. He needs to get 16 plus carries, get Keaton Mitchell in. He had 2 carries for 19 yards. He was averaging 9.5. One of his longest runs, 18. So it's like he's a guy and he got a touchdown as well. So start feeding him a little bit if you need to take some away from Derrick Henry. But tough, tough, disappointing loss. I don't know what else to say. We were on a good groove with what the Chiefs are doing and how we started the season. We were on a good move. I don't know what to expect from this team anymore. I am sort of in a point where I'm just like don't want to think about it because it pisses me off. Um,
Hmm.
but there's still a chance for us to make a run. We'll see what we change up. Um, but I think the biggest question mark for us is Lamar Jackson.
For sure. Yeah, Lamar, something's not right.
Hmm.
And I don't think injuries are necessarily, 100% to point to.
Hmm.
I watched a lot of this game because I really wanted to see Joe Burrows come back. And he looked great first game
Hmm.
back. At first, kind of built his way up. Real quick on the Bengals, I guess. Uh, uh, Joe Burrow, what a difference maker he is for
Oh
that
yeah.
team. That is a totally different freaking team with him under center, and I'm talking both sides of the ball as well.
Hmm.
It just makes everything seem easier. So, team looks great. It's probably too late for any sort of run with them, but luckily the rest of the division, isn't doing great for the Ravens. So Pittsburgh loses,
Hmm.
Bengals, yeah, probably too little, too late, and then the Browns are just the Browns, and Lamar though. Watched a lot of this game. His turnovers looked so bad. That one, sorry, I'm not trying to put salt on the wound, John,
No, it's
but
okay.
just that fumble thing he had, it looked like he purposely like tried to toss up the ball somewhere and it just dropped directly in the defender's hands to run it in.
Hmm.
That didn't make sense. He's taking, a lot of sacks, them turning away from the run game. Derrick Henry was running the ball very well that first
Hmm.
drive. I
Yeah.
don't know why they turned away from it so quickly. Who cares if you're down? It's Derrick freaking Henry.
Yeah.
And uh, the lack of usage of Keaton Mitchell is a crime at this point. I don't know what it is, but when he's in, he's electric. His speed
Hmm.
is phenomenal. That touchdown he had, nobody even touched him.
Yep.
Nobody's within 5 yards of him. Um, so and then Rasheen Ali, I saw him get a lot of game action.
Hmm.
I think even more than Keaton Mitchell. Maybe it's because of pass blocking stuff, but
Yeah.
I just uh, I don't know. And then, there's a pass at the end of the game that, I think he tried to throw it to Zay Flowers. He threw it like 5 yards over his head. Just Lamar looks so sloppy.
Hmm.
It just, something is off. And I could tell, the mistakes, the way he was kind of rubbing them off was, smiling, trying to get through it. But he just looks uncomfortable. I don't know.
Yeah, he does, and like I say, that's just my like question mark. It's like, what is really going on? Is it a motivational thing? Is there something else going on? Is it all this media in your head that's really getting to you? And like I said, this is almost like what the game script went away from Derrick Henry is sort of like what we talked about with the Eagles, and that's sort of the next game we're going to talk about. It's sort of you hear all the noise that Eagles need to pass more, but it's like stick to your bread and butter because, just quick preview, Friday's game, Bears Eagles, Bears won 24-15. That's three in a row, I think, for the Eagles losing.
Hmm.
So it's like, if you don't stick to your game script, what your bread and butter is, it sort of just throws off the whole flow of your team, of what you guys have been prepping since the beginning of the season. So the Ravens, like I say, you weren't out of it fully, in the first quarter. You lost it a bit in the third. You were still pretty close. So stick to that game script, run it. Lamar Jackson already looked like he was having a tough game. Don't give him too much pressure because we've seen it. He fumbles under pressure a bit. And I hate to say it as my quarterback, but it is what I've seen and it's what I want to avoid. So, we'll see what happens with the Ravens. Bengals have to win out and have a lot of things work out for them to possibly make a playoff run. And if they do, that's a dangerous team because of Joe
Yeah.
Burrow.
You're exactly right. I'd love to see, a reincarnation of playoff Joe. Get the Burrow effect that he had in LSU. But yeah, no, it's a totally different team. That team looked really, really good. The defense looked
Hmm.
a lot better too. And
Yeah.
that's been a humongous question mark for them.
Hmm.
So yeah, very dangerous playoff team because they'll be that lower seed that, would play a high seed and maybe
Yeah.
bounce some teams. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, no, that's perfect. And, you know, leewaying into this very interesting game, I'm glad
Uh,
that you already prefaced it. Chicago, Philly.
yeah.
You watched a lot of this game?
No, I was doing a lot of shopping, so I was watching highlights on my phone whenever my kiddo gave me the phone.
Got it. Yeah, I tried to watch a lot of it too. Yeah, it was kind of that midday game that
Hmm.
was kind of tough to tune into on that Friday. But uh Monangai, we talk a lot about Monangai on this podcast.
Hmm.
We're big fans. Rushing for a buck 30 and a touchdown, and then Swift also rushing for a buck 25 and a touchdown. I think the combined performance of both of them was a record setter for the Bears.
Hmm.
Um, if that's all they got to do is just tear it up against defenses running it the way they do, and then just let Caleb, kind of do his thing and make some, good passes here and there,
Yeah.
that's perfect
Hmm.
because that's the recipe for them being 9-3. Just Ben Johnson is absolutely cooking.
Oh yeah.
Coach of the year candidate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Ben Johnson is, like I said, this is a team that stuck to that bread and butter, which is helping them the run game. And it's sort of like it's what they've been doing the last few weeks. Caleb Williams has a lot of that noise around him that he isn't that top pick, but it's like he's doing what he needs to do to win these games to help the team win, and that's all you should
Mhm.
focus on. Like, don't focus on the hype because in the end, what Caleb Williams wants to do is win a Super Bowl. That's what everybody's there to do. Win a Super Bowl and find a way to get paid. And he's already getting paid, so it's win a Super Bowl with his team, and they got an awesome team, to do it. And especially with this run game now with Monangai finally getting unleashed, you know, it, they're a scary team. And then the Eagles,
Hmm.
Saquon, Madden curse. Let's just call it what it is. Madden curse is a full effect for Saquon.
For sure. I don't know what's going on with him. We say it every week, like mystery not solved.
Hmm.
We have no idea. It's just
Yeah.
like and we prefaced it, and I think we had a good response. With a lot of good insight and folks kind of
Hmm.
agreeing with us talking about Kevin Patullo and how he's not the right guy to make play calls.
Yeah.
as OC there. And Sirianni really needs to consider making a different. And you nailed it as a precursor before this game even happened.
Hmm.
That this isn't the AJ Brown show,
Yeah.
and you cannot revolve play calling around one guy's drama that he's
Hmm.
creating out of thin air after just winning a Super Bowl. I think it's
Yeah.
quite ridiculous. AJ Brown had a phenomenal game, yes.
Hmm.
But like you've said over the past year, and like we've fought tooth and nail against a lot of people who strongly disagree against the take
Yeah.
that Jalen Hurts is not elite. That is not the Eagles' bread and butter.
No.
19 for 34, 230 yards, two TDs, and a pick with a QBR of 19.3
Yeah.
is not elite at
No.
all. And that the stats don't do it justice. He did
Yeah.
not look very good. Um, so that's not the answer. And when the running game's not working, they don't have anything to fall back on.
No.
I don't know. Is anything going on with Tank Bigsby? Because I know when he's gotten his touches, he's done pretty good. So why not
I,
mix it up for Saquon?
Yeah, they need to do it, figure out what's going, like how to get that run game resurged again because it was their bread and butter, you know. Saquon last year almost broke the rushing record. This year he's barely, if he goes at this pace, he might not even break a K
Yeah,
rushing yards, which is insane, you know, of a guy that there's no real report of major injury. So why is he not even getting over, you know, 1,500 yards? You know, he is a top running back, you know, unless they're trying to save him. But that play calling, the way they're going, they might miss the playoffs, you know, if they keep on just losing the way they have been. You know, Cowboys are making that run. You know, NFC North looks strong. NFC South, Bucks, Panthers, you know, we'll talk about them coming from behind. And then NFC West, that one, you know, Rams, Seahawks, 49ers. Like, you can't be second in your division and think you're going to make it with all these teams. It's going to be a close race in the NFC, and they need to change it up quickly, or else they are going to miss it, you know, with a great winning record.
for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. And they're gonna have, tough Monday night matchup coming to the Chargers.
Hmm.
And then they follow that up with an easy win against Vegas. But maybe with the Eagles, nothing comes easy right now.
Hmm.
And then they have Washington twice, which, they're going to get a Washington team that tries to stay competitive, but
Hmm.
is beatable. And then Buffalo mixes in there too. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they really need to win, obviously, as much as they can. But Dallas is like hot on their freaking tails.
Yep.
And Dallas has already played them twice. So,
Yeah.
they don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can focus otherwise.
Yeah. Because the Cowboys got the Lions, which Lions depleted team. They got the
Yep.
Vikings. That's an easy win for every team right now. They got the Chargers, which will be a tough game. Commanders, which, like I say, should be a winnable game for them. And then the Giants, you know, so they only got one big or two, you could say two big matchups with the Lions and Chargers, but, you know, Chargers
Hmm.
might be their biggest challenge and obstacle.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's tough sledding. So
Mhm.
yeah, Dallas. I mean, the way they're playing, I mean, they just beat the Cowboys, and then they go and
Hmm.
beat, or they beat the Chiefs, and then they beat the Eagles right before that. So
Yeah.
they've been put up to the test. Like, these are
Yeah.
not easy wins the Cowboys are coming by.
Yeah.
Um, they're putting it all out there.
Yeah. But yeah, the Bears, scary, looks like a scary team. Who would have thought? I think I saw something playoff bracket picture right now. They're number one in the NFC. They got the first round buys as of today.
Yep,
So
that's unbelievable.
kudos to them, you know, the change Ben Johnson's done there. So Bear
Hmm.
fans, I think they're excited, but I also think don't get too eagerly excited because we know what's happened in the past.
They know better than anybody. Yeah, I think that their expectations are kind of tempered, but I'm sure they are over the moon with what they've seen so far.
Yeah.
So good for them. I'm happy for Bears fans.
Yeah.
They deserve it. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It was your take for last year, a year too early.
A year too soon. A year
Yeah.
too soon. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so next game, Saints Dolphins. Game I really didn't keep up with much. Saints kept it close, but it was the Dolphins. Dolphins won it to 157, one pick, no touchdowns. A chain, he's probably asking for a quarterback. They need a quarterback there. He needs that help because he's doing a lot of the work. When Tyreek Hill comes back, it's like if you have a quarterback that could throw well and is just accurate, this could be a very scary team. Because, like I said, Darren Waller showed up again. Jalen Waddle's there. You have A Chain, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Wright, great backups too, and just so many great pieces on the offense and defense is decent, so and maybe just a coaching change.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be a team of movement for sure this offseason. Lots to be seen. And when you
Mhm.
said Devon Achane's asking for a quarterback, I thought you were going to finish that with salary because I
Uh,
think he deserves a quarterback salary the
Probably
way
he
he
does
runs the
too.
ball. It's just he makes 100 yards rushing look so easy.
Yeah.
He's so elusive. He's been like that his whole career. He's truly a great running back in this league. Um, Saints got a lot to do. They got a
Hmm.
lot to do. But I will say they almost came back and won this game.
Yeah.
Vele came up big for them,
Hmm.
receiver for them. This was a game without Kamara. Kamara injured.
Hmm.
Just interesting turn for his career now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, let's see what they can do under Kellen Moore. But that's really about it. That matchup's kind of a snooze fest a bit, unless you had,
Yeah.
A-Chain in fantasy or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a team that's probably drafting a quarterback in the first round. One of these top quarterbacks that they'll be able to get.
Yeah.
Next game, Texans Colts. Uh Colts just another loss. Texans, it's a team we sort of said, might be making a comeback. They've been playing well. CJ Stroud came back. Decent game, you could say, stat wise 22 for 35, 276 with just one pick. Um, but like I say, they pulled it off against a Colts team that a lot of people were sort of calling probably a high playoff team and now looking like a team that could be at risk. But yeah, like I said, didn't watch too much of this game either.
I didn't either. A big takeaway is that fibula with Daniel Jones. It's a
Hmm.
broken fibula at this point. He's not, he can't run at all, really. His warm-ups looked
Hmm.
iffy. I think I didn't watch a whole lot of it either. I had Red Zone and was strictly only listening to it
Hmm.
audio-wise on the drive back. But yeah, just the glimpses I got from this game, it just sounded like a whole lot of Texans. Um, their defense is dominant. Collins, is playing well, alongside CJ Stroud. Jonathan Taylor, it's just, I don't know, a different version of him. I know that's a good
Hmm.
defense to go up against, but these past 2 weeks have been kind of underwhelming. If they can kind of get back on his hype train and get him going again. Also, Tyler Warren scored a touchdown, yes,
Hmm.
but yeah, just hasn't been, a
Hmm.
little different than the start he had. And
Yeah.
then this is a team that really, I mean, they're now at a threat. That division's very competitive now, with the
Hmm.
Jags, Texans, and themselves.
Yeah.
What, you mentioned a team that started off hot, might not even take the division at this point. So,
Yeah.
um, iffy. And then they also had Sauce Gardner go out with a calf injury early on in this
Yeah.
game. So let's see how long he'll be out because he's a
Hmm.
difference maker.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a game surprise. Well, not surprised to see Texans win, but I thought the Colts could have done it. Daniel Jones, uh, I think that's going to be their downfall, possibly the quarterback play. If he can't run, he can't do too much. I think they got to try to rely on someone else. Um, Sign someone, ask Philip Rivers to come back to the Colts for another year.
Mhm.
See who's up and ready, next man up, because that's what the Colts are going to need. But yeah, JT as well just needs to develop. But Texans will be a good a team to be scared of, but also a team that will struggle in the playoffs if they can make that run.
for
Um,
sure. Yeah, it just seems like a team that might fill up a, lower seed and, you know,
hmm
have a close first round exit. I don't know.
yeah. But then the next game, Jets versus Falcons. Surprising a Jets win, but it's against the Falcons with Kirk Cousins behind the quarterback. Cousins had a so-so game, decent game, 234 with one touchdown.
Hmm.
Bijan, finally a Bijan game. Bijan, fantasy owners are probably happy with this type of game that he had, rushing and receiving. Um, but the Jets, Tyrod Taylor did well. Ad- Adonai Mitchell, great trade piece for them, for the
Absolutely.
and their trade for Sauce. Um, but yeah, like I say, it's just the Jets. Like I say, isn't really doing much for the division, more just pride, you know, winning it on a field goal. Nick Folk still has that leg.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, Nick Folk, AD Mitchell. Yeah, no, very good. Very good addition in that Sauce Gardner trade.
hmm
Um, yeah, and now the Jets have stacked up a bunch of, first round picks through the trades
hmm
as well. So, uh, they I think they're on a good track. They
hmm
look like a more serviceable team under Tyrod. The
Yeah.
experience is helping. Um, Brees Hall kind of just doing much of the same,
hmm
staying involved, is about it. But yeah, the Falcons, again, offseason will come. They'll make a coaching change. I don't know if it'll
Yeah.
be, for the better. It just doesn't seem like they're hiring very well at all. Uh,
Yeah.
given the amount of good talent that they have, it just seems like it's kind of going to waste. Um, yeah, Kyle Pitts, good game, but man, what a disappointment.
What a disappointment. Like I say,
Yeah.
he might be a player that needs a change of scenery, coaching, and just a different system to sort of help him be that top prospect that he was drafted out of the college. Um, but yeah, I'm curious to see what both these teams do the offseason. Jets could have a lot with all their first round picks. Like I said, I think they'll be looking at quarterback, but like I said, I think they should be going for talent, like great systematic talent and not vibes, not the big names out there, not Pavia. I don't think that'll be a good fit here.
No, completely agree. Yeah, you can't go off of vibes. This team
Mhm.
needs somebody that will fit a format that has a good structured,
Yeah,
ability to win. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Next game, your team, 49ers Browns.
there you
49ers
go.
winning 26-8. Good win for them. Browns, another sack for Myles Garrett, so getting closer to that sack record.
Yep.
Um, Shadir Sanders, serviceable. What he did, with this passing, good rating. Judkins showing he is going to be that go-to guy in Cleveland. So a lot of good future, possibly, depending if the owners and the coaching staff get sort of develop the Browns team.
For sure. Yeah, I think that there was some knocks on Shadir this game. I think that they kind of think he's not taking enough risks in the game
Mhm,
in order to help his statistical, output and make it seem a little bit better. Which I can see. He had some good, deep passes against Vegas, but
mhm,
now this, was a good test against a defense that, although isn't what they were to start the season, nowhere near what they were to start the season,
mhm.
is a better, much better defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of gave it out. Quinshon
Mhm,
Junkins is going to be, just their complete workhorse.
mhm,
Great game, didn't score, but he gets so many touches a game and deservedly so. He's the dominant back there. My Niners, McCaffrey, yeah, just a ton of touches as always. But just the ground game, no matter who they're playing, it just seems like McCaffrey gets 20 carries for 60 yards every week.
mhm.
It just kind of where they're at. But, again, he if he scores and catches the way he does, I think he's up to 85 receptions on the year as a running back. I don't care what you do on,
Yeah.
carrying the ball. He's just once in a lifetime talent.
Mhm.
Little, I sent you a clip of Jawan Jennings, of the Cleveland Browns and what they had to say. I guess they said that they saw why, that interaction they had with the lower
Yeah.
region of his body last week. Don't know what he's saying out on the field, but that was definitely something that was noteworthy from this game.
hmm
Besides that, Purdy, no picks. I love to see that.
Yeah.
Big change from last week. Um, and yeah, we have a kicker that, can
Can-
hit his field goals. So
Yeah.
yeah, Matt Gay stepping in for Pinheiro as he's, I believe, injured at the moment.
hmm
But yeah, 100% on everything. It was a game we had to win, and I mean we're 9-4. It's crazy. Love it.
9-4, great record. Purdy, system QB, 168, one touchdown, but no picks. No picks.
Yep.
That's the big thing. Get his confidence back up. See if he could become that big name QB that you guys paid him to be. Offense, like I say, yeah, with McCaffrey, you guys are always a dangerous team, and defensively, you guys are decent too. So looking good with all the injuries you've had on the defensive side. So um, like I mentioned, a team that could make a run, depending on how you guys are playing and how I think Purdy's playing and your defense is playing. That's going to be your two big factors for your team.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, let's see, how consistent we can be. The division is just so tough. It's
Yeah,
crazy the talent that we have to go up against.
yeah,
So it's fun though. Makes things really fun.
yeah. No, it does. But yeah, that's all I really have for that game. Not
Same.
much more.
But glad we won.
Yeah. Yeah. Next game, Rams Panthers. Big win for the Panthers, 31-28 against the Rams. Tough game from Stafford with the two picks. Blake Corum, showed up with the 7 carries at 81 yards, one TD. Um, the Panthers, they're a little bipolar. They have their good games where they show like they're that type of playoff material, and then they have a very bad game. Last week against the 49ers, they just look garbage. In this
Hmm.
game against a team that I have as a possible Super Bowl contender, able to win, Bryce Young showing a lot, I'm liking what he's doing, and then that team, it's just Chuba Hubbard had a great game, Rico Dowdle, I think it's gonna start being a committee type backfield, but they have it. They have that run game, so kudos to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, the reinvigoration of Chuba Hubbard, coming back, seemingly lost his job after that injury he had early in the season. Rico Dowdle, I mean, he had back-to-back 200-yard performances.
hmm
Can't blame that, that he lost his job to it, but phenomenal game.
hmm
Big catch, ended up scoring and, did it on the ground as well. Dowdle still got his touches in,
hmm
did what he had to do. Jalen Coker, a lot of talk about him earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Young wide receiver for them, had a great game. And yeah, Bryce Young, he's looking like, a top pick. But again, this is the team that we kind of talked about. They either look really good in their wins or
hmm
their losses are just really bad.
Really bad.
And it's just it's a roller coaster ride. And for
Yeah.
them to do this up against in power rankings wise, the Rams are the best team in the league.
hmm
To go out and win this game is phenomenal. Stafford had some crucial turnovers in this
hmm
game that was kind of a bummer. He's had a phenomenal season, so this was his first kind of bad game on the
Yeah.
year. Um, they have the ground talent for sure. Blake Corum rushed the ball
hmm
really well. Kyron Williams again, consistently running the ball
hmm
really good. Um, yeah, it's they have the elements are there. There's nothing to worry about with the Rams. Their defense is great. It's just some things here and there that,
Yeah.
just Panthers got the better of them. Puka, yeah, I just think Devontae Adams is kind of scavenging a lot of those touchdown catches.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is the artist of 5 or fewer yard touchdown catches. He
Yeah.
just unreal how many he does. I think it's
He
seven
does.
weeks in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Puka does the heavy lifting. Adams gets all the glory with the touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think Puka's that type of player that he doesn't care as long as the team wins. So he's probably a little
Yep.
disappointed. Crazy catch he had. Saw that
Yes,
highlight.
that's right.
Amazing
Yep.
catch. But yeah, this is a team. Maybe just an off week. Let's see how they do next week. Like I say, they got the Cardinals. They should be able to take care of that easily. Lions, Seahawks, Falcons, and then Cardinals again. So I think Lions and Seahawks are going to be their big challenge and sort of playoff, tests, to sort of see what they can do. But not too concerned. It's a bad game from Stafford. He hasn't had one of these games in a while. So let's see if he just turns it around, which he's a veteran. I think he can.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the Panthers secondary too, very, very good.
Hmm.
Michael Jackson, very good. Pick this week. I think he had one of the interceptions with Purdy last week. You know, you mix that in with JC Horn, really good secondary.
Yeah.
Panthers are going to be good for years to come, and that's a
Yeah.
winnable division in the future. So
Yeah.
good for them.
Yeah, no, good for them. Next game, Jaguar Titans. Jaguars winning 25-3.
Mhm.
Um, Not much to say. Trevor Lawrence had a decent game, but it's the Titans. Cam Ward, too early to be called bust.
Yeah, yeah. I'll say it's
Okay.
too early, but I am unimpressed.
Yeah.
Definitely unimpressed. Regardless of, I know the team is absolutely horrendous. He's, I
Yeah.
think, by far and away the most sacked quarterback in the league.
Hmm.
Um, really nobody to throw to, receiver
Hmm.
wise. But I just think there's a lot to be desired. He's not really like catapulting a bad team and making them look incredible the way
Hmm.
like Josh Allen would,
Yeah.
or just yeah, there's a lot to be desired. Let's see if he can do it beyond this year.
Hmm.
Um, but the criticism will be there for a first overall pick.
Yeah. No, it'll be there because they aren't getting too many. 1-11, probably another number one pick coming this year. So we'll see. Yeah, I think it's too early, and this is one of those talents that was he just overhyped in college because of what they had systematically and just the vibe and not really that talent, that's gonna be cut out in the NFL because you sort of mentioned it with Shadir, sort of stat padding, making his stats look good. That was all the talk about him his final year in Colorado.
Yeah,
All the passes, everything was just to make his stats look good to help his draft stock. So he's continuing to do what he's doing, what he's always done. So we'll see how that goes. But this game, like I said, wasn't really too interested. Jaguars would have lost. I would have laughed at them. Another bulky decision that's probably haunting them. But you could
yep.
say bulky did well for this game
He
from the
did.
grave.
He did from the grave. Absolutely. Yeah, I wonder what I mean, Tennessee's got to go get a wide receiver, right? If they get that first overall pick. Is it Jimmy Smith out of
Jer-
Ohio State?
Jeremiah Smith, I think will
Jeremiah.
be. I think he should be the first wide receiver out of the draft. And I think it'll be him. Yeah, I don't know if they need defense, but I think they need just help for Cam Ward.
Yeah, maybe consider trading down, maybe a
Hmm.
couple picks to it,
Hmm.
go below a team that wants a
Yeah,
quarterback anyways, and
yeah,
I don't know, add some value to it.
yeah. Because you could probably get Ryan Williams a little later, who's also a great talent from Alabama.
That's right.
You
Yep.
know, you need running back, so there's some good running backs out there too.
Yeah,
Jeremiah Love, like I say, if you get multiple picks in this first round, um, try to go for it because Jets have multiple picks, so you might be able to get it out of them because they're winning games and hurting their draft stock a little bit.
for sure. Yeah, no,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, it'll only hurt. But
yeah,
yeah, interesting to see where they'll go.
yeah. Next game, Cardinals Buccaneers. Bucks winning 2017. Close game. Baker Mayfield, mediocre game. Good win from the
Hmm.
Bucks. Like I say, my take of Bucks still making the playoffs and making a Super Bowl run, I think could happen if Baker
Hmm.
Mayfield turns it around. Chris Godwin Jr. Happy to see he had a decent game, 78 yards. Emeka still gets the targets. I think a lot of attention's on him now, so I think he just has to learn how to sort of work with that. And then Bucky Irving back had a, you know, so-so game or pretty good game coming back with a
Mhm.
touchdown. So great for them. Cardinals kept it close. Jacoby Brissett, great, great generational backup, in the league.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I had a comment about Mariota, which we'll get into, but Brissett has been a phenomenal
Hmm.
backup for them. It just seems like he's over 300 yards every week. Yeah, he's I'm sure he's keeping the wide receivers happy, which
Yeah.
is a good thing with the Cardinals because they have some talent there with Michael Wilson,
Hmm.
McBride, and Harrison. So,
Yeah.
Bam Knight, he's been a serviceable running back for them too, with Connor going
Yeah.
down um and Benson being
Hmm.
out with the knee issue. So, um, yeah, it's a good thing for the Cardinals not winning. They
Hmm.
shouldn't be winning. Don't win at all.
Yeah. Yeah. They won't be so. Um, but yeah, that's that game. Next game on my sheet, Viking Seahawks. 26-0. Um, just a spanking by the Seahawks.
So bad.
Sam Darnold didn't really have to do much in this game.
Hmm.
Defense did a lot of the work. Justin Jefferson, he must be pissed off. It's
Oh,
either It's either he's asking for a trade or it's like if you don't draft a quarterback that's gonna make my life better, I'm out. I'm gonna hold out until you guys release, trade me.
yeah, and quite frankly, if anybody's ever had a talking point to do so, he's top of that list. It is a complete disservice to him and his talents to have two catches for 4 yards on six targets in a game. It's absolutely pitiful. And
Hmm.
yeah, at this point, do you make up an injury just to kind of like sit it out the rest of the season at this point? Because
Maybe.
what's the point of even risking your body, to
Hmm.
to go up against teams like the Seahawks who are an incredible defense?
Hmm.
Um, in having a guy like Max Brosmer throw to you, he's going to set you up with some really, bad
Bad.
passes. I saw countless memes regarding this. I've seen a ton of people saying we owe JJ McCarthy an apology, which is crazy.
Hmm.
Um, but for people, I think it was Steve Mariucci, former Niners head coach,
Hmm.
who's now an analyst, was saying Max Brosmer was going to throw for 486 yards pre-game, and then to go out there
Oh
and
man.
throw for a buck 26 and four picks. In one of the picks, I don't know if you saw it. He was like falling over and just randomly chucked it like a side ball, like a hook
Yeah.
shot, and it just went straight into the sea. It looked like Little League, like Pop Warner.
Yeah.
It was horrific. A QBR of 5.6. Um, yeah, I also saw a Shane Gillis meme with this with uh the Vikings head coach sitting down, Kevin O'Connell, in reviewing tape and being like, "Holy shit, this guy is worse." And it's it's unfathomable to think that it could get worse, but it did.
It did.
Um,
Hmm.
this is arguably the worst Vikings team of my lifetime.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen him this bad. And especially like you mentioned, Justin Jefferson is that type of player that how do you lose the games and not even give him an attempt to win? They started off the season decent. They Carson Wentz was serviceable, but once JJ McCarthy came, it wasn't good. He hasn't shown it. His injury, is it really an injury or are they just sort of giving him a break? I don't know if they want to bring him back to this team as well. It's another quarterback that maybe just sit out, try to develop and try to sell that to Justin Jefferson of work out in the offseason, start working out now, build that relationship, get that confidence in. But if not, it's like who you drafting next? Because you need a quarterback. Because without that, Justin Jefferson, I won't blame him And if I'm a Viking fan, I wouldn't blame him either from wanting out of Minnesota.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree. You have to go clean slate at quarterback. I
Hmm.
think at this point, I don't care. Like we had somebody comment on our video this past week saying, geez, it's only been 6 games or whatever for JJ. Give him time. I think 6 games we've seen enough.
Hmm.
There's not even like anything there that's like wow, okay, maybe it just it's there's a
Hmm.
lot to be desired, and they have to go quarterback.
Yeah.
The talent that they have, there's upset people. If you're letting Adam Thielen, who born and raised Minnesota, will probably have his jersey retired by the team at the end of his career because of all he's done, asking for to head to free agency to have a competitive final season. If he wants out, that's a lot. That says a
Hmm.
lot. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Seahawks, like I say, didn't show much defense, looks dominant, a team that could be very dangerous. They have a Rams, Colts, Panthers, and Niners games coming up, so a lot of great challenges to sort of get them prepped for the playoffs and prep those other teams for the playoffs. But we'll see what they have. But a scary team, and like you mentioned, your division makes it a tough division.
hmm very tough. All three teams are phenomenal.
Hmm.
Cardinals, maybe next
Yeah,
time.
maybe.
Um, but yeah, no, it's fun. But this division, it's been an incredible
Hmm.
division for a long time. It's only gotten better. So
Yeah, it's gotten good. So next game, Bills Steelers. Bills winning outright. So-so game from Josh Allen, 15 for 23, 123 yards, one touchdown, one pick. Uh, only ran it for eight times, 38 yards for one touchdown. James Cook, that guy, 32 carries. That guy got a lot of work done against this defense of Pittsburgh that is not a bad defense. So getting that through them, a little surprising.
for sure. Yeah, I think with this game in particular, the defense was just on the field for so freaking long. They were probably
Hmm.
exhausted. Time of possession difference for this game. Buffalo had it for 41 minutes, 59 seconds. Let's call it 42 minutes. Steelers had it for 18 minutes. That defense was exhausted, is what
Yeah.
that comes down to, because the Steelers offense sucks. It is so bad. Aaron Rodgers, 10 of 21, 117 yards, got his nose jacked up. It's for him to go to a press conference and talk about wide receiver meetings when you play that shitty. I, I don't know. Let's see the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the wide receivers do need to step it up. I won't take that away from them, but don't go pointing fingers when
Yeah.
you are playing terrible. Um, Josh Allen, why couldn't we face this Josh Allen in our fantasy league at
Yeah.
that point? That stinks for us.
Yeah.
James Cook, phenomenal year. That dude's
Hmm.
been electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really about it for me on this one.
Yeah. Yeah. DK Metcalf, not the guy. Maybe
No,
needs a different quarterback to sort of that has more trust in him. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he'll retire, but do you think he should be a starter in this league after this year?
no, and I think that's the problem. Is do you think he'll want? Do you think Aaron Rodgers has the capacity within himself to be a backup?
No, no.
No way.
Any team he goes to, he's gonna demand being the starter, or he's not gonna sign.
Yes. And I feel like, do you think he's the type of guy, let's just say, this offseason he considered the Vikings. Do
Hmm.
you think he would go to a team knowing a Vikings team, knowing how bad they are at the moment, go there with low expectations just so he can be the starter somewhere?
Um, like that situation might be good because of Justin Jefferson.
True.
That's the only
Good point.
reason. Cardinals, same thing. They have great tight end,
Hmm.
great wide receivers. Could be a great place, for him not having to do too much on his own. But that's what I thought of the Jets. He did decent with the Jets, but not that great.
Yep.
So I I think he would, anywhere he would want to go. Um, like I say, Raiders. That's a team I don't know if he'd go to because there isn't much other than Ashton Genty
Yeah. Bowers. And then you just got
Powers.
Crosby on defense, but it's not enough. You
Yeah.
could say the same, not the running game wise, but
Mm.
DK
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
be
It's
your
just
Bowers,
someone.
but he isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't think he should be in the league. If he stays in the league, he should be a backup, but I don't think pride wise, ego wise, he's not going to let that happen.
For sure. For sure. This was another game. I feel like there's been a lot of defensive players lately coming out post game and just like I don't know if I want to say overreacting, but reacting to, I guess, just various offensive players. And I guess this one whatchamacallit? It was somebody coming after um Josh Allen. I guess Josh Allen need him or something, and
Mhm.
he
Oh,
took
I think I
offense to
remember
it.
hearing about it. Yeah.
Was it Hayward? Is Cam
I
Hayward?
yeah, I think it's Hayward. Yeah.
And Cam Hayward was pissed. He got up in Josh Allen's face. I don't know. People are getting feisty this time of year, and I kind of like it. I think the NFL needs it.
Hmm.
Yeah, but just a lot of people talking
Hmm.
post game interviews.
Oh yeah, there is. It's the playoff push. It's trying to get into their heads. It's that mental warfare that's
Yep.
happening. So yeah, nah, I don't mind it. It's part of the game. Do you really think Josh Allen did that on purpose? Probably not, but probably could be.
Yeah.
He seems like an ass sometimes,
Yeah.
so but who knows? Not calling Josh Allen an ass. I think he's a great player, but we don't know. Only the players do.
Yeah.
That part of the game. So we could assume and have our thoughts with everything based off what he was wearing or how he was acting before that play. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Bills Steelers. Next, Raiders Chargers. Chargers coming up with a win, 31-14. Um, Brock Bowers sighting, finally doing what Brock Bowers is supposed to do. Not as great as he probably could have been. And
Hmm.
that's because of his quarterback. But I would say they did a little bit better on the passing game. Genty though, still, you mentioned it, can't get a lane. Averaging 2.1 yards per carry, had 15 carries just for 31 yards total for the entire game.
Yeah. Just no space. He's literally Austin Powers reversing the golf cart through the hallway. It's just no wiggle room. It's
Uh,
little inches here and there, and that's all he can do. Um, yeah, no, Raiders will be Raiders. Uh, uh, breaking news: eliminated from the playoffs,
yeah.
not eligible. Um, talk about a team that might want to consider a head coaching change with Pete
Hmm.
Carroll this offseason. Definitely quarterback change.
Hmm.
Talk about a handful of players that they need to try to make happy between Crosby, Bowers, and Genty. It's going to be a big question mark season for him off
Hmm.
season. Let's see, who they bring in, who they're considering drafting. Chargers, on the other hand, a win that they needed to have. They had a really piss poor performance against the
Hmm.
Jags before their bye week.
Yeah.
Coming back from the bye strong, Herbert, fracture in his hand. I believe he already got surgery on it.
Yeah.
Non-throwing
Not
hand,
throwing man.
evidently not going to miss time, evidently, which is good. Um, if not, then I guess we'll see Trey Lance, which is cool.
Hmm.
Vidal had a great game.
Yeah.
Um, besides that, serviceable game. Good for the
Yeah.
Chargers.
Yeah. Good for the Chargers. Good win because, like I say, Chiefs lose. When Chiefs lose, rest of that division wins. It's great news to fans.
Yep.
Um, the quarterback on the other side, you mentioned him, Trey Lance, good fit for the Raiders.
Ooh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think he can do it. Um, it can't get any worse. You can't get any worse than Geno.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, I think if you go in there with that mentality of,
Hmm.
I can't do worse than him, um, I think that there is a chance.
Yeah,
Trey Lance, the thing is with him is, yeah, he's been a disappointment, but he's still only 25.
he's
Like
young.
there is time. And they can try to make something happen.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe let's see what happens in the offseason.
Yeah,
Raiders maybe want to consider him if they would like to draft other positions.
yeah.
Why not?
Draft a wide receiver, bring in Trey Lance, fill up that spot. Because, like I said, Trey Lance, a lot of question marks still, but preseason looked phenomenal. Had great throws. I remember we talked about it, during the preseason that is this guy finally having that resurgence with, the Chargers, Harbaugh. Is he the guy to sort of turn him around a little bit? He's learning a lot under Justin Herbert, Harbaugh, that team right now, and taking that to the Raiders, maybe with a coaching change, you know, that's the type of quarterback Pete Carroll worked with, Russell Wilson, but just taller too, quicker. So with the pieces, it could be a good fit. So, you mentioned quarterback. I looked at that other side, saw Trey Lance had 1 for 1 for 9 yards, in that game.
Yeah,
Could be the guy.
it's a good 9-yard pass, if you
Yeah.
ask me. Uh, yeah, I think yeah, I mean, honestly, the Raiders defense is better than what their offense is at this
Yeah.
point. I mean, just because of Geno Smith, pretty much,
Hmm.
or that O line. So
Yeah.
if you go out, draft, a wide receiver, even if you don't, you just want to focus on your offensive line and then
Hmm.
work with what Trey Tucker is and can
Hmm.
be. Gentry can be a great receiving back as well. And then just bulk up that O line and then add some pieces here and there to that defense.
Yeah.
It's a team that can work.
Hmm.
Division's tough as hell.
Yeah.
But I think you're on a better track than anything
Hmm.
with Geno Smith. That guy
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, the Raiders Chargers. Next Broncos Commanders. Uh, Sunday night game, overtime game, Broncos winning it 27-26. Like I say, a game they probably wanted and needed to win because it is a tough division, but Commanders put up a fight, man. They put up a big fight. Uh, Marcus Mariota, I'll let you give your little.
Oh yeah. So yesterday in our group chat that we have with a few buddies of ours, in our fantasy league involvement as well. I just put out there that Marcus Mariota is such a good backup in this league. Yeah, he couldn't make up the starting career that, everybody had hoped for after
Mhm.
coming out of Oregon, how Heisman amazing he was, there. But he's stepping in for this Washington team and honestly keeping a bad team really competitive.
Yeah.
He's not Jaden Daniels and all that he can be, but he's doing well. Like
Hmm.
50 pass attempts, almost 300 yards passing, couple touchdowns, did have a pick, but some of the plays that he was making, that Denver defense is phenomenal, arguably the
Oh
best
yeah.
in the league. The secondary did not look great for the Broncos this past week. I know it was Surtain's first game back, but Mariota, the way he was elusive getting out of possible sacks, making plays where he needed it. There was a play really late in overtime that I think it was 4th and 8, and he was about to be sacked, and then he ended up getting out of it, threw the ball while he was being tackled to McNichols, and then Hafunga came up behind him and tackled him before the ball got there, and they got a PI call for the first
Hmm.
down. It you don't really see it on the stats, but plays like that, just phenomenal to keep them in it. And then of course they go for two, and this was a game the Broncos should have lost.
Hmm.
Easily should have lost because I
Yeah.
think Washington played a better game in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I just want to give some kudos to Marcus Mariota. He's out there doing his thing, and I think
Mm.
he such a good backup. McLaurin, great first game back as well.
Yeah.
Almost 100 yards receiving, had a touchdown. Um, Rodriguez, solid running back.
Hmm.
11 touches, got the touchdown. Other side of the ball, Denver. Um, Bo Nix is good. I'll give him that. He's good, but he's not what a lot of people build him up
Hmm.
to be yet. And he had an interception yesterday that Bobby Wagner had. It was an absolute gift because I don't know who the hell he was throwing it to. It was such a bad pass. But then, he had a touchdown pass where he was falling over and it was kind of like a sidearm gunsling that
Yeah.
looked phenomenal. Um, I had Troy Franklin in the Family League fantasy wise. He disappeared and it just made me hate Sean Payton for the game. Because I don't know why they weren't passing to him. I was like, dude, he's out there.
Yeah.
Why is so I think that I'm calling Bo Nix not as good as what he is. He's good, and I think that there is validity to that, but I think I'm just kind of angry with him for not passing it more to Troy Franklin. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, I think he's good. I think he still has a lot of developing to do, and I think he could be great down the line if he gets developed well. He has Sean Payton who could develop him, pretty well.
mhm,
Um, so this is a team that looks good. The running game, RJ Harvey, first shot at taking over, didn't really produce. So had the two touchdowns, but like, yardage wise, didn't really do too much. Um, so I'm curious, but yeah, the Denver defense, one of the best defenses I've seen, a little sloppy. Uh Zach Ertz sighting, 10 yards, 106 yards, man. That guy was just back to his youngin' days.
for sure. Tough catch that he missed at the end of the game, but they were exhausted.
Hmm.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz, man, he's still doing it. Props to him.
Hmm.
Um, RJ Harvey, I'm glad you brought him up. Dobbins is clearly the better back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Dobbins out with the foot injury.
Hmm.
But RJ Harvey just seemingly runs like there's a few times he ran the ball outside when he should have just went. The play design was to go straight up the gut, and
Yeah.
he didn't do it. He just went where there was nobody that he could get support from.
Yeah.
So he keeps doing that. He is going to continue to rush for 2.7 yards
Yeah.
a carry.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like I say, Dobbins might be checked out till the end of the season, till the playoffs, just because he is a little injury prone and they know they're going to need him. So, could be a candidate to not play too much more the rest of the regular season. But yeah, Broncos Commanders, like I said, good win for the Broncos because like I say, Chiefs lost, so makes it harder for them. And last game, today's game, Monday night, Giants, Patriots, 15-33, Patriots taking another W. Um, every day closer and closer. Your take is pretty much here, I feel like.
Wish I put money on it.
Yeah, it would have been a great one to do. Drake May, great game. Um, Possible MVP front runner. Um, what else did I see from the game? Uh, Henderson not getting as many touches at the beginning of the game, giving it to Stevenson. I don't know what they're doing. I feel like Henderson has shown enough to sort of give him that confidence and try to give him that boost. Had a long run, so that's why he sort of outshined Stevenson in the game, but still big question mark what they're doing there. But after that, overall, great game from the offense for the Patriots.
John, it took everything in me to not let you finish what you said because thank you. What are they doing giving the ball to Stevenson and letting him start these games still? The
Hmm.
dude is a fumbling machine.
Yeah,
He's not the runner that Henderson is.
no,
Like like the electricity behind Henderson when he was running it, that end of game 26-yard carry that he had, like he's clearly the better back. What are they doing? I don't know. Vrabel was pissing me off because again, Henderson's a guy I flexed in the family league
yeah,
and I needed him. Luckily we won because of his big run.
yeah.
But I was able to pull it off. But like I just don't know why they're twiddling their thumbs so much with
Mhm.
Ramondre. The performances Henderson had when Stevenson was out, he should have clearly taken over that role, like no
Yeah.
questions asked. And then Stevenson, this is his second week back.
Hmm.
and he gets the start. I don't get it. I don't get it. And the only part that I think it might be is that Stevenson is a better pass blocker. And I
Hmm.
think that's a big part of it because you have to protect Drake May. He is,
Yeah.
your cornerstone of your offense. But Henderson, man, it is so tough to not see him out there getting more touches. Um, yeah, 11 carries, 67 yards. Wish you would have seen the end zone today.
Hmm.
Three catches to add to that for 19 more yards. Stevenson
Hmm.
had one big catch. Besides that, it was not a great game. He had like
Yeah.
three carries in a row for -7 yards. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
why are you still giving it to him? I don't get it. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Probably talked about that longer than I should have, but thank you. It pissed me off. And then other side of the ball, Giants. Man, uh, just kind of one thing with Young Ku. What what happened? That kick where he like kicked the ground a yard in front of the ball. I don't know what happened to
Uh,
him in his
uh,
career, man.
I want an investigation on that.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about that. You
Yeah.
think it was something?
Oh, you know how they're looking into the NBA for fixing games, stat padding.
Yeah.
All a lot of people needed, I'm included, one field goal. One field goal. That's all we needed. And
Oh,
how do you shank it that badly? You
it
know?
was really bad. Like
Yeah.
like like how do you do that in the NFL bad?
Yeah. Like I could have had a better shot at it coming out of the, stands and jeans and a puffer jacket. So I feel like there should be an investigation because I'm curious if he's just really that bad. Um, but that shouldn't be happening to NFL caliber kicker to whiff it that
No.
bad into the floor.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Because I was on X quite a
Yeah.
bit this game because I wanted to kind of vent my mind with what other people were thinking about Travion Henderson, and the Young Ku uh thought came up, and somebody did ask saying Vegas is in or on that kick,
Hmm.
and I hadn't seen the kick live. It was part of the game I didn't catch. But I did watch a replay of it, and it looked weird um, because he was a great kicker with the Falcons for a
Yeah.
few years window. For him to go from that to shanking it in the dirt like that was odd. So
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't
And
have anything because I'd probably be more angry.
no, yeah, yeah, well, even if I didn't have anything, I still feel like an investigation has to be looked into because, like I said, this was just bad. It's not like you whiffed it, wide right, anything like that. It's like you like purposely just missed it by like it looked like 3 to 4 inches, and like I say, as a professional, that shouldn't be happening. That's little league style stuff. So it doesn't make sense, why it happened, but I think that's the big question mark because after that, they didn't even give him a shot to kick it anything else in the game. In the fourth, when they scored the touchdown, they just went for two because I think, like I say, there could be a fix in. Why go for two when you guys weren't even going to win the game? There was no chance of coming back. So,
Yep.
but yeah, but after that, Jackson Dart, okay game. Back, guy needs to learn how to slide. Took a big hit,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
big
But
one.
an illegal hit though, so it just has to protect himself more. This isn't college; it's a little different. So, um, but this is a team rebuild mode. Really lost a lot of their players. Cam Scatabo, we talked about it. Malik Neighbors. You get another good wide receiver here. You guys can make a run. They can make a nice run.
For sure. Yeah, completely agree. There's a lot of great elements to it. Jackson Dart's a great quarterback. I will say
Yeah,
that. Does need to learn how to slide, especially coming back from a concussion. That was a
yeah.
big hit. To mention, I believe it was Theo Johnson, the tight end, was the first to kind of step up and go after
Hmm.
the defender after that hit, even though the hit was legal, like you
Hmm.
mentioned. Um, the team's got his back, which is
Yeah.
awesome. So they're behind him, and I
Yeah.
think that rightfully so because Jackson Dart looks like a great passer, and he also can run for the
Hmm.
for it as well. So
Yeah.
and then another odd thing with the Giants is my final thought on him.
Hmm.
Abdul Carter, the early benching again, made a difference when he came back into the game. Had a sack
Hmm.
today. I think he's only had a sack and a half on the year. Um, Odd top
Hmm.
pick to the backstories of sleeping in meetings or missing meetings, and they cleared up behind the scenes and then now being benched. There's a lot going on. I hope it doesn't
Hmm.
continue because Carter's an incredible talent, but
Hmm.
it's not a good look.
Yeah, not a good look. Um, it's something he needs to change. He needs to talk to Micah Parsons, a Penn State guy, talking to him how
Yep.
to get to his level. But also look at what Penn State was the last few years with that coach. Why he got
Hmm.
let go. The what he learned from that coach could be what's sort of affecting him, and has to get in a different mindset. So we'll see. Great talent wasted on the bench. I understand you have to do that, but you know, you need a mentor for him. So Michael Parsons hopefully could reach out. Brian Burns, a veteran guy, should be doing that as well. Uh, so we'll see. But yeah, Patriots, like I say, Patriots, I think could make a big run for the Super Bowl. Uh, but Vrabel's going to be the question mark because if he does what he's been doing these games with Stevenson, play calling, that coaching staff, it's what's going to hurt them. I think Drake May is the real deal. I hate to say it, but this could be a brand new dynasty from New England, and Vrabel was the perfect guy for that position.
Absolutely. Yeah, Vrabel, absolutely phenomenal. What a different team this is compared to last year. Drake May, top quarterback in the league, one of the top, I'll say.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the team's very well put together. Defense looks phenomenal.
Hmm.
Uh, but get your head out of your rear and put Travion Henderson in the game more often because there is such a big difference between him and Stevenson. Sorry,
Hmm.
I just had to just one last jab. Uh, it drove me nuts.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, so we'll see. Because I'm looking at stats of him. So he's at 101 carries for 324, three touchdowns, averaging 3.2. Henderson, 129, 625 yards,
Come on.
five touchdowns, averaging 4.8. So there's already stat wise, yeah, he has more, but he's doing a lot better, averaging better, more touchdowns. So, and only
And he
by,
catches the ball.
and he catches the ball.
And then
Yeah.
look at Stevenson's fumbles. I think he has like 3 or 4 on the year. Um, I think
Yeah.
uh, I think Henderson maybe has one
One,
on
just
the
one.
year.
Yeah. Henderson has one. Stevenson has three.
I mean, come on, it's not even and he's played less games.
Hmm.
Come on. Come on, Vrabel.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So they got to switch it up a bit. But yeah, this is a team that, like I say, it's what I wish my Ravens were because of how the Chiefs are playing. It looks like they may not make the playoffs. They might not even, and if they make up the playoffs, they aren't going to be that big of a threat. And it's the one year that you have to take advantage to win a Super Bowl. And we are fumbling it. Patriots are, you know, living off of it. They're doing well. They're doing what they got to do. So,
Hmm.
Patriots, I think, as of right now, might take AFC. It's going to be the Patriots. NFC, giving it to the Rams as of right now.
Sticking with the Rams. I like it.
Yeah.
Rams are good. Very good team.
Yeah.
See why.
But yeah, that's NFL banter game by game. Let us know your thoughts. I know some of our takes, you guys, some of you fans are probably hating us a bit, but hey, it's what we do on Banter on the Rocks.
That's right.
Cause a little bit of that. But we'll talk a little bit about TV shows before we end our show today. Because one of the big shows out that sort of brought this topic for me at least is Stranger Things. So season 5 released on Thanksgiving. We'll call it Thanksgiving Eve, the day before
Hmm.
Thanksgiving. So 4 episodes. It's 3 parts. 4 episodes this part. I think it's 3 episodes next part, which is on Christmas Eve, and then the final episode on New Year's Eve. So, but a lot of hype with this final season. First 4 episodes. Won't spoil it for you, Tim, because I know you're still watching it, but great
this week.
episodes. Awesome episodes. Episode 2, the way it starts, insane. Episode 4, the way it ends, insane. Um,
Mm,
this is a series finale that I will say is living up a little bit to the hype that everybody's been waiting for 3 years so far
mm,
through this first volume. What the next volumes show us, we'll sort of see. The last time I think there was hype like this for a TV show from more recent memories, Game of Thrones. I don't know if you ever saw Game of Thrones.
no, I should have. Shame on me. I know how good it is.
Yeah, but there was so much hype leading up to what this series finale was going to be, and there were quite a few good episodes in that final season, but the last like episode, 2 episodes were sort of trash, I would say,
Mhm.
and sort of ruined what a lot of us fans that watched it from the beginning wanted to see. And I'm hoping Stranger Things doesn't do this, but for me, it's living up to the hype. Stranger or Game of Thrones lived up to the hype, just a little at the end. Um, any TV shows for you that sort of lived up to the hype, Tim, that were like top shows that you liked or didn't live up to the hype that just sucked towards the
Um,
end?
Trying to think. Well, I will start with Stranger Things is something I'm very excited for. It's been a very long time coming. And I'm planning on binging that this week. I'll have some more time. Um, but as far as stuff that's lived up to the hype, unfortunately for me, I feel like I've been late to the bandwagon on a lot of shows. Where, I'm able to watch it season start to finish,
Hmm.
with all the seasons that they have combined. I guess I always reference The Office. The Office is phenomenal with Steve Carell. When Steve Carell left the show, I didn't even bother watching. So
Hmm.
didn't live up to the hype after that.
Hmm.
I never, shame on me, got into Breaking Bad. What else did I watch? I'm blanking on TV shows at the moment, but um, I think that's the biggest part for me is, but Stranger Things in general is one that I'll watch as soon as it comes out. What John Cena show did he have on HBO again?
uh,
Superhero.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. I watched it as soon as it came out. I thought that was phenomenal. Lived up to the
Hmm.
hype for me on that one. That was really, a great
That's a good
watch.
one. Yeah.
Uh-huh. One show I will say that is living up to, I didn't see much hype surrounding it, but I am a big Tim Robinson fan. The Chair Company. I
Mm.
have really enjoyed that show. I'm about
Uh,
5 episodes deep,
okay.
and it is just quirky. Like, I know that there's, satire comedy throughout
Hmm.
it, but just the suspense that lives in it
Yeah.
is unlike anything I've seen. It's a good show. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
really
Okay.
enjoyed it. It's been really well on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's at like
Nice.
100%.
Okay.
But highly recommend The Chair Company.
Okay.
I've found it to be a great show so far.
Nice. That's on the HBO, right?
It is on HBO.
HBO. Okay. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's been hard for me to watch because there's so much to watch. Like I say, right now, Stranger Things was the one thing I was catching up with. One of the shows, it was on Hulu. Vera was watching, and I sort of started watching like close to the end. Um, was it Hulu? I can't even remember. Uh, but it was pretty good. I'm trying to find it. Um, there's that. But one show that I think lived up to the hype. I don't know if you ever saw it or heard of it. Succession. Did you ever watch
No,
that?
but I should. That and Severance is another one.
Severance I haven't watched. I want to watch it because of all the talk. A lot of people talk about it. Shogun, another one on FX. That's one that I think I would want to watch. I think there's a few seasons, so just sort of binging it. Um, but yeah, there's so many shows. Oh no, it's
Hmm.
on Peacock. All Her Fault. If you watch
All her
that,
fault.
it's yeah, it's a bit of a drama. Uh, Child gets stolen, but the whole twist to it of why the kid was sort of taken, it's crazy. So I like I say, I saw that late because Vera was watching it, but she really liked it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll look
Yeah.
into that one. I really enjoyed the Jack Reacher
Okay.
shows
Yeah.
on Amazon Prime.
Hmm.
Um, big fan of those.
Nice.
Those have lived up to the hype. I think they're done now. I think there's like what 3, 4 seasons in total.
Hmm.
Each one I thought was very well put together. Big fan of John Krasinski, of course, from The Office. But his
Yeah.
serious roles, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really great actor.
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
Land Band's good. I don't know if you've seen that.
Landman, the one with
Jerry
yeah,
Jones, first
the
episode,
first yeah,
but with
it's
Billy
one
Bob.
Billy Bob. Yeah, I watch that Sundays with Vera. We watch it every Sunday, so that's good so far.
Okay,
Uh, Another one that I saw right now. What was it? I'm blanking now. There's because there's so much. Um, where'd it go? It. I was talking about it. I haven't been able to watch that again. I got to go back to it.
same.
But it was pretty scary. Where is
Hmm.
it? I'm looking for everything. Looking through my little cheat sheet of all the shows that have come out. Oh, Yellowstone. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
No, but a lot of clips. I know it was phenomenal for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
So that's like one of these shows that had like a lot of hype at the beginning, and I think the way they ended it was pretty good as well. I think it could have ended a bit better, but like I say, it lived up a little bit to the hype if you watched it from the beginning. Um, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot. Yeah, I see right now the chair company, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's a great show, man. I have you watched any of it yet or no?
No.
See, I I I guess I'm not totally biased. It has a really good rating. I just really
Yeah.
like Tim Robinson for
Yeah.
his comedy stuff. Um, but the show, I haven't seen a show quite like it. It's
Yeah.
just it's quirky, it's different. It has a weird comedic drama to it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
yeah. And
To
and just
yeah.
Tim Robinson just kind of brings a weird anxiety,
He does.
to it.
His comedy is hilarious because I always see the clip of him on the dating show and the zip line.
Yes,
That one just
he's the
always
best.
gets me. Like, I don't know why it always pops up every now and then. It's like, you're just here for the zip line. He's like, no. And you just see him going on the zip line, not going to
Yeah,
dinner.
yeah. No, see, he plays that role so well, and like, I absolutely binged the hell out of the Detroiters. I'm a shame that they ended it after 2 seasons. I really wish there's more to it because that was a great show in my opinion. Had a
Yeah.
lot of fun watching those 2 seasons. Um, but yeah, no, the other one that gets me in I think you should leave is the dinner scene where they're meeting their old teacher and he keeps saying
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Oh, have a bite of that. I want to eat that." And then he like takes the whole
Uh,
burger from him. Um,
uh,
just a great show. Just quirky, weird.
hmm.
Another show that I just came across, Tulsa King. Heard that's good. I was talking with Rob over Thanksgiving weekend,
Okay.
and he has watched Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
He says that that's been a good show that he's enjoyed.
Okay. Yeah, I've always been interested in that one because I've seen it on Paramount Plus because that's where Landman is. So one I'm
Yep,
interested in watching. But like I say, it's like there's just so many shows, and if you haven't watched a show from the beginning, it's like you have to catch up, especially if there's multiple seasons. Because like I say, like
absolutely.
you can still get into Breaking Bad and sort of see what all the hype was, but it's what is it, 6 seasons, and it's pretty long. So, but like I
Yep.
say, if you watch it, it'll be worth it. Watching it all at once too, not having to wait 6+ years to watch the whole series. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah,
I
but go
I have
ahead.
one more I want to mention.
Yeah.
Sorry. There was one show that uh where is it? Um, who's the actor from Good Doctor? It's not about Good Doctor, but the main
Uh,
character, um,
Freddie Highmore or something.
Freddie Highmore. Yes. He was in a show that I think was a precursor to American Psycho.
Yeah.
Um, what was the name? Bates Motel. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed Bates Motel.
Okay.
I thought uh, Vera
Hmm.
Farmiga from Conjuring, of course.
Yeah.
She was really great in this series as well. I really enjoyed that show. It was one years back that I watched with Jen. Um, Scary, suspenseful at times. You didn't know what he was going to do next, but
Hmm.
he played the role so well.
Yeah.
I thought the
Okay.
acting of the show was great. Really enjoyed that. Don't know if you saw that one.
Haven't seen it. Started watching it, but never like got through it too much. So it's one I'll put on my list.
Yeah.
One I will say that like I started watching, but I can never get into it. The Bear. Like that's one that I feel
Mm.
for myself at least feel it's like overhyped. Like a lot of people talk about it winning all these Emmys, but I've never really gotten into it, and I'm like I feel like I need to sit down and really watch it, pay attention for it to get my attention, but I'm like it hasn't done it so far.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think it takes like a unique viewer to kind of really get into it. I heard
Yeah.
that isn't it labeled as comedy, but it's certainly not, and it's more of a
It's more,
drama.
yeah, I think it's more of a drama and shouldn't be
Okay.
under comedy, but
Yeah.
um, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. No, that's how I felt about that Pedro Pascal movie I saw
Uh,
during our movie competition that
but,
I was like going to go into it and there's like one funny scene, the rest was like drama. And I'm like,
yeah, materialist.
materialist.
Yeah,
Yes. So,
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, but yeah, the hype for Stranger Things, like I said, wanted to sort of have discussions of TV shows. White Lotus, another one, has lived up to some of the hype.
mhm.
I've enjoyed that one. But yeah, Stranger Things is doing great things. If you've seen the first four episodes of this first volume, I think you're excited for the next three. And then I think what's really creative, and I'm curious why they're doing it this way. The final episode, they're also releasing in theaters at the same time.
Whoa.
So I know we're gonna try to go watch it because it's only in limited theaters. I think 300 theaters worldwide.
Wow.
So
Okay.
like I
Very
said,
cool.
it's something where we want to try to see just because I think the experience to seeing how crazy it could be in the big screen like that would be awesome. But like I said, but if it's like Game of Thrones where it's just a dud, I'm gonna be a little pissed.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that would be a huge bummer in letdown if it's a, bummer finale. Question. I did hear the final episode is supposed to be about 2 hours, right? Like a full length movie, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
the
right?
final one on New Year's Eve is about 2 hours. The first episodes, I think one was like an hour 10, 59 minutes, an hour 20.
I love it.
So yeah,
That's
so
great.
it's almost like a full movie. So like I said, we got the kid down at like 8:39 and we were up till about 1 o'clock watching it all. We're like, let's just get
Yeah.
it over with, get it done, and we were tired the next day, but it was worth it.
That's just yeah, no, that's phenomenal. And once you
Yeah.
get into it though, it's pretty much a factor of where did the time go.
Yeah, like it goes by quick because you're just so into the show and like I say, they keep you on your feet for all of this. I think few minutes here and there a little slower, but there was just so much that was related to the story and just the entire way it's ending that really keeps you paying attention. So I like how they kept us glued to the TV. And like I say, I'm curious, and I hope the next three episodes on Christmas Eve are going to be the same.
For sure. Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to tune into it. It's going to occupy much of my week, or probably not much of my week, especially because I'm one to binge.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'll maybe much of a day,
much of a
one night after the
day.
kiddos go down.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, it'll be good. But yeah, but yeah, those are shows. Like I say, if you guys have any other shows you guys like watching, recommend that we didn't bring up that you guys are seeing and say like it's worth the hype. Let us know because, like I say, I enjoy watching it with Vera. We're always trying to find new things to watch, new shows because we watch pretty much every movie. So shows are sort of how we keep entertained.
for sure.
And yeah, and then Zootopia too. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Great movie.
Yes. Yeah, I heard good things. Heard it was pretty funny. I
Yeah,
the we were gonna take the kiddos this past week, but just couldn't muster up the time to to go see it. But
yeah,
definitely on the list.
yeah. So, but yeah, that's what we got for today. As always, we're building something here with Banter of the Rocks, real talks, real laughs, and unapologetical takes. So if you've been following us since day one, thank you. If you're new with us, hit that subscribe button. And as always, drop your own banter, in our comments. Tell us what you want us to banter about next, what you didn't like about us, our takes this week, because I know there's a lot of fans that we probably got a little mad with some of our football takes for sure today.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll see him. We see him every week. But hey, banter, it's in the name. It's exactly what we're here for. Glad we can create, a fun bantering back and forth with all of you
Hmm.
guys because that helps us meet new people, of course. And that's what
Hmm.
we're here to do and expand, the people that, want to
Yeah,
listen to us each and every week, and we'll always be here. So
yeah,
thank you so much.
awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thanks.